He showed me once, quite a while ago. We're gonna go, we have to have a whole lesson on how to record and do, yeah.
We're live.
Okay, let's stand pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first article of business is Mr. Garish, road commissioner, and he's not going to be here this evening. So that gets us up to public participation. And you're on the agenda, right?
I'm on the agenda.
Okay, and you like somebody working that?
That goes with you.
Okay. Go to the review of the minutes.
And don't leave anything out. OMG! They were giving me a possible cast of Puppy's mind winner. But missing, and we can't get them on the phone. Then the B team showed up back for suspension. Now Professor K went to beat us this whole time out of the academy. And we need to stop them before it's too late. Hashtag the truth! Cupcake mind bender. Bring up the hallway surveillance cameras for the last 24 hours.
Did you vote against or did you abstain?
Abstained.
Well, I thought you said no.
Well, I did say no.
Yeah, I thought he
But
said
I
no.
think he said no, but I think on the actual vote, you didn't.
He abstained then, okay.
I know you didn't want it, I know.
Yeah, I thought he said no, so I really did.
Any other changes? So we're going to take that whole paragraph out? I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written with the correction.
Well,
Make
I
a
really
motion
wasn't
to-
here. I really wasn't.
Yeah, I'll
here
make
most
a
of it.
motion to accept the Thursday, February 21st minutes as corrected. You gotta second it, because she wasn't
I
here.
didn't come, remember, I didn't
That's
get here
right.
till later, so,
You could have half seconded.
yeah.
Seconded.
I'll second it from
All in favor?
7:30 on. Whoops, why am I doing, I'm just saying that, sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't really here. Okay, sorry, that's it. Motion. Okay. Correction. Okay.
Okay, the AP warrant this week is for a grand total of $36,829.41. We don't vote on that, right?
We don't have to anymore.
Okay. Then that leads us up to the paperwork.
Thank you.
Training requests, no, sorry, request for time off. For Lynn for May 13th and 14th, Stacy will be covering.
It's a Monday and Tuesday. Public hearing is the 15th.
Yes,
No problem? I don't see.
I don't think so.
As long as everything's done by that Friday for the public hearing, or
It's fine.
copies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we can do
We
that.
normally do the town reports
for that?
If we have some.
If we have them
Well,
ready.
they might not be ready by then, but it would be nice.
Yeah.
But we should have our newsletter out by then, that
Yep.
referendum letter.
Right.
Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
Time off for Val on March 15th.
That's a Friday.
um, June 24th to the 28th. And May 31st.
It's on Monday through Friday, on June 24th to 28th, you said?
Yes,
And then what was the other date?
May 31st. One day.
Yeah, it's just another Friday.
And Mary Beth and Jackie will be covering.
Those are personal days?
Time available,
Assuming that's
yes.
personal days.
Really gotta be, that's all they have.
Is Stacy signing off on those or anything, or?
Yes, she's writing.
Okay.
Time available, yes, and then
Okay.
she tells us, which is good to know.
This one's a training request for Stacy and Lynn. Spring training seminar in Bangor. 2 nights. And dates, there we go. April 22nd and 23rd.
April
For
22nd.
General assistance.
April 22nd. Yeah, but 22nd is a Monday.
And the 23rd must be a Tuesday.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, so how are you gonna do payroll? We get it in earlier or something?
yeah, that's what she'll have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, change the form. This one feels weird, sorry. Not used to signing the top
Yeah.
line.
Okay. Next week you're gone.
Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, this Monday and Tuesday. Oh,
I fly out, so
okay.
I have to take an extra suitcase. Oh, this is weird. Because the phone is different.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are gonna be busy.
That one's gonna cover property tax abatements too.
Well, that's good. Property abatements, yeah, that's good.
Is that all you have for training?
No, you have 3 more, I just, actually, this one's all for, 3 of these are for Stacy. One is for payroll law, which is on September 5th. Monday. The other one is for the annual conference, the mandatory training for treasurer and certification, property tax relief, etc. That's on the 16th of May.
In Waterville, right? I think.
Yeah, it is in Waterville, correct. And the third one is municipal law for tax collectors and treasurers. That is November 13th in Augusta.
Yeah,
That's a Wednesday, that's easy.
all important.
And while we're on training, before I forget, Mary called me today, I guess they've got a training, the ACOs have training up in Sunday River maybe, or
Yeah.
Sugarloaf? Sunday River?
I think
One
it's
of those.
Sunday River.
Yeah,
One of those,
it's a once a year thing.
they had I guess it's like late, they just got the notice, but they gotta like get it done now, and so the place has our information. So they're gonna book it under us, but we're not paying for it, so another town's paying for it, but she just wanted to make sure it was okay to book it under us. And then once she gets up there, it will,
Oh, cause yeah,
it'll get changed over.
so,
But they
yeah,
needed somebody to be able to book it, and so
Yeah.
they had us already on file. So,
Okay.
I said it was good.
especially if we're not paying for it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You wanna go away? And this one. Should've dug down deeper. This is another one for Stacy. This is for, small claims court procedures held in Augusta on 12/17. I hope all these work out with her maternity leave somewhere down the line.
I just, if it doesn't, I'll take it, read it. I never get tips on this. I think the small claims one is a new one. I don't think they've offered that before. Anyway, not that it matters, so just read it. We're good.
Counselor Good? Okay, I have a request here from the treasurer to give Jacqueline Caldwell, Valerie Andrick, and Mary Beth Pardon permission in Trio to change addresses. Believe we have to have a motion for that? Or is this a signature?
I make a motion that we allow them to change addresses.
I'll second it.
All in favor? And the last one is from the treasurer to give permission to move McDonough fine of $30,000 from the CEO fines to the legal budget as reimbursement of legal fees. Motion for
So
that.
moved.
Seconded?
Yeah,
All
I
in
don't know
favor?
if he was making a motion or.
That sounded good enough for the motion, so I.
Would you like to do the cane now?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to announce, or in case people didn't know, but Maria Lane, who is our Lebanon's Boston Post Cane recipient, passed away on February 6th. So we would like to wish her family, give her our condolences. She was a sweet lady when she was here, and we presented her with the flowers and stuff. She was a very, very nice lady, so we just want to send our condolences. And we'll have to put it out there to find who's the next recipient.
That's all the paperwork? Okay. So we're a little ahead of schedule. So Deborah, you like?
I had a couple of things I'm gonna talk to you about tonight. The first thing is, for the appeals board, we had a resignation of, Michael O'Brien, from the appeals board. And at the time we had 2 seats open, the board chose Michael O'Brien for the full voting member seat and also added Michael Parker as the alternate. We have an upcoming hearing and I'd like to have 3 full member voting people on that board at the time. I've talked to Michael and he's willing to accept that full voting member seat if the board would move to put him from the alternate into that full member seat. I'd appreciate it.
And your second item?
I'm sorry?
And your second item you had?
Can we finish that one first?
We can?
Yeah, because he's here and I don't want to keep him here, his little girl.
Okay. Any discussion on?
No, if he's willing, no, he's willing to.
What's the term? It's filling a term, isn't it?
He's be filling,
Well, I don't know, the board can choose to finish that term. This is not an elected position, it's an appointed position. So the board can choose to fill whoever's term that was because it's been moved around so much.
right,
Or you can choose to appoint somebody for a 3-member term. That's up to you. This is not an elected term position, so completely up to you how you want to handle that. I would prefer you just put him on for 3 years. I mean, he is on as an alternate. His term as an alternate would have ended in June.
what was the end of Michael's term?
I'm not positive.
You'd have to check with Mary Beth, I believe, or whoever did the appointment, so.
I thought the last I'd heard, you were thinking about leaving as of June? That's what I had heard.
From me?
From you, yeah.
No?
No, not at any time.
I think that discussion was only because the alternate position is only a 1-year position. And so at the time, Michael had never sat on the appeals board before. And the discussion was that the alternate position would end in June because it's only a 1-year appointed position. And it would end in June because the board always tries to end everything in June so that everything starts fresh in July. But I think that was the discussion that I had with him, and he may have conveyed that when you were talking about the alternate.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I would say backfill Mr. O'Brien's position. I just don't know what the end date of that is.
right, because Michael O'Brien was filling somebody's position who was filling somebody's position.
Right.
And so that it gets a little confusing there, and so that's why I had kind of hoped that the board would just put him in a full position for a 3-year ending at the end of June, because I really just don't want to keep coming in and asking for appointment after appointment after appointment.
Or you come up automatically once afterwards. So.
Right.
Comments?
Just, we gotta, whatever the appointment is, I mean, I don't know, we have to check with Mary Beth, she keeps track of that, so as far as what term,
Right, we have to check with Mary Beth and then she's got to write up the appointment paper.
write up an appointment paper, so, yes.
So it would be next Thursday that you would actually be appointing him, because I just want to make sure that it's prior to, I don't have 3 board members, full voting board members, and I want to make sure that it's done prior to my appeals board hearing, which is the 11th.
Yeah, no, we'll do it before then.
Okay.
But even as an alternate, he can vote anyway, right? Can't he be
Well,
up to
he
his term?
So it's said in the ordinance that the chairman can move him into that, for that.
Right, so, yeah.
So, I mean, I can do that.
Yeah.
I had thought that we had to have a quorum to vote him into that, but I went back and reread, and I can actually move him into that for that hearing. But I would just as soon have him already in place for that.
Yeah, so we'll get her to do the papers and we'll,
On the to-do list.
On the to-do list, thank you. So the second thing is also with regard to the appeals board, and that is my budget. As I talked to you guys the other night for your land use, I have no idea what you set for our budget. I have no idea whether or not we feel as a board that it's enough, but I'd like to be able to talk to my board on March 11th. As you know, after our hearing, we're having a small meeting, a discussion about the appeals board ordinance, so forth and so on.
I have no idea who created my budget. I have no idea who's set dollar amounts. I have no idea what those dollar amounts are, so I'd like to know that so that when I speak to my board.
My book's on the truck.
I mean, I thought that was clearly identified.
$600
$600 for what?
training,
For training?
Yeah.
Okay, and what is the amount that is budgeted for newspaper, publication, or what is the amount that?
that's all, cause you're all combined, so that's not separated for you. The only thing separated is training for each of you, but the rest of it, it all comes out of the same budget.
Okay.
So, it's all,
And so how did you base that $600 for training?
I assume we did it for,
Led me to believe, didn't it go up?
yeah,
Yes, it did go up from $200 to
Because-
$600 apparently.
because of, weren't we gonna have
We
the
had new
lawyer?
members and lawyers, right?
Yeah, and the lawyer do the training rather than,
Mhm.
they go to the class, but they could, in my opinion, can go to the class if they want to, but, so yeah,
Well, not for that money, because the lawyer is 200 and change per hour.
Well,
So at 600, it only allows for 3 hours, correct?
correct, but I don't think it'll take that long, I would hope not, but.
Well, no, I would hope not too, but I just was wondering, with 5 members, if 3 of them decided to go to the class, that takes away any chance at having a decent level, discussion with the lawyer. So my question to you is this: if you were all involved in creating that dollar budget amount, what did you use? 5 members, or if somebody leaves and we get a 6th, how many people did you plan might go to that class, and how long did you plan for a training with the
Well, the
attorney?
present members, I thought, didn't care about going to the class.
Well, so did I until I saw you guys saying Mike O'Brien could.
Yeah,
I know that wound up being a mistake. I know it wound up being.
Because I'm the one
but-
that said it.
Right.
Okay, and I said, well, if he wants to go to that class, he should be able to, and I felt that way, and I even said to my other 2 partners here, I will pay for it myself if it's an issue, but if, I just felt, since we had someone else going from the planning board, if he wanted to go, I didn't ask him, it was just like a conversation, and I said, he should be able to go if he wants to go, and of course that created
Right,
a
and
whole
no,
big-
it wasn't,
But-
here's the deal of it, Laura, is that I can't spend your budget. And so before you guys go ahead and spend a budget that may have plans for it, you should have come to the appeals board and.
It was a
said,
conversation that, it was all my fault. It was my
It
fault.
wasn't anybody's fault because it
Well, it was,
wound up
'cause
not
I-
even being on it. It was Andy that wanted to go and not Mike. And Andy's
I
on planning board,
suggested-
so.
I suggested that because someone was going, I said, oh, if he wants to go, he should go.
Right, yeah,
And
he
that's
didn't
what I
even
said.
wanna go, Andy wanted to go, so it wound up being a whole misunderstanding
It was.
anyway.
Yeah.
But my point was that I don't understand why nobody even, give me a holler, give me an email. It takes 2 seconds, you guys send me emails for everything else all day long.
It wasn't, that whole thing was blown way out of proportion. But I still believe if they wanted to go and you said they couldn't go, I still think they should.
Well, I would never say that they couldn't go, but if there were plans for that money, I would like to be able to say to them, here's what we had planned for that money. If you want to go, you have the right to go as an appeals board member, but I'd like to be able to tell you that this is what we had planned for that money. So which way would you want it? I'd like to be able to have a conversation with the other board members and find out where all the other board members
It's
sit
all
on
me.
spending the budget.
It's me.
Well, that's why I'm talking to you.
I understand.
Is that I
It
think,
was a conversation. It wasn't anything.
I understand
know.
that, I understand that. I'm just saying, if the conversation includes the appeals board budget, I would appreciate it if the conversation about the appeals board budget.
I didn't know I was gonna have that
included the appeals board,
conversation.
you
I
know?
didn't know it was happening. It's totally innocent, but we can do whatever we want say whatever you wanna say about that. I apologize. I'm sorry. I overstepped my bounds as a selectman. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't.
So-
I'm just telling you how we feel that if we
Well,
wanted to
you
spend that on
apologize to all your
something-
members. I'm sorry I did that.
It's not even about an apology, Laura.
Well,
So
I
I don't know where
what
that's coming from. I'm just saying that in the future, I would appreciate it if if appeals board budget was talked to with the appeals board, we had no idea that you were giving us 600 for training. We had no idea. We had no idea how you were doing anything. Nobody's ever talked to us, any one of us, and there's a bunch of us. So,
Well, we apologize.
You know.
I apologize for any part I had and whatever I shouldn't have said, sorry. That's all I can say.
you understand.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Will 600 be okay for this year?
I think so, if we're, I mean, I don't even know, what is the lawyer, the town attorney charging now to come here? What does it cost us now for the town attorney to come
I'd
here?
have to ask, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's what I would like to know, Paul, is what will it cost us to have her come here? Because I know that, it was just stated that it shouldn't take that long, but the last time that the town attorney came for the planning board, we were here, I think, 3 hours. So 3 hours at $200 and change an hour, if we invited the planning board, which I would never do that without inviting the planning board, because we're kind of all in this together. So if we voted to have the town attorney come here and we had the planning board and it was a question and answer session with the town attorney, I'm nervous that then we have a whole year that we can't, if somebody wanted to go to that training, they can't.
Right.
So I'm just asking you to examine why that $600 figure was placed at 600, what you think we can get for that $600 and how you think it will benefit us, and then talk to us about it. Like I said, we'll all be here March 11th, excuse me. We'll all be here March 11th, and I would appreciate some kind of discussion from the planning board from the select board. I keep thinking of you as planning board. With the appeals board.
Wrong chair.
I know. to have that discussion so that we have some idea. I mean, $600 is just kind of a picked out of the air number, and nobody seems to know what it was based on. So
I thought it,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Lauren.
no, I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
No, would you please don't do that.
No, I'm good.
I try to give you.
It's okay, no, it's okay. I'm good.
Thank you. Hey Pete, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Come on up, sir. You're next.
I'm next.
Sorry.
Wow,
I know
no, that's fine. I usually get, right here's fine, or
Wherever you like. Wherever you feel comfortable.
I'll get close if you don't mind.
Yes.
Enough to yell.
Just so you know, we'll swap
Waste
roles.
management.
We'll swap roles.
Yes,
Unless you didn't-
okay.
Unless you didn't pick up on that.
No, I did, but thank you, folks, for having me again. For the record, Pete LaChapelle, Waste Management, and that's LaChapelle. Perfect. Thank you again, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Last time we met was, almost a month ago, I guess. I apologize, was gonna try to get here a little sooner. Things happened, guys on vacation, I got busy, dad in the hospital. Long story short, I'm back. I did analyze a bunch of different options for the town and really came up with really 3 options, and one includes what you're already doing. And before I get into it, and I broke it out and I'll go over it with everyone, before I get into it, I just want to take a step back. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, Waste Management opened up our new recycling facility in Billerica, Mass. It's our single stream site. So all our districts, Rochester, Londonderry, New Hampton, Keene, we feed that location with all that material. We can't build another one up here. It's just not enough volume to feed 2 plants.
So that's where our single stream recyclable bin goes. It goes
To Rochester for whatever, for the time being.
It goes to Rochester, loaded on a 100-yard trailer and shipped down. But and I'll get to another point, we couldn't ship it all the way down there to Billerica directly, because I looked at that option, but the hauling charge alone, you guys would be spending probably, in addition to what you're currently spending, another $6,000 just for transportation to get it down to Billerica directly. So backing up to our facilities here, feeding that location, we did this, that was a business decision on our end. Single stream was the wave of the future, that's where everything is going to, that's pretty much where all the feedstock or commodity recycling goes to at different single stream facilities throughout the country. So our facility in Rochester, the only thing we bale at that facility is cardboard that comes in separately. And that's an option that I have. The other material gets dumped onto the floor, mixed in with every other community, business, whatever, and shipped down to Billerica. So I can't take material like tin, aluminum, steel separately because I still have to charge it because it's getting dumped on the floor and shipped down to Bill Rick and it's mixed in. And if I
When you
were,
say dumped on the floor, does that mean that it just literally it's dumped on the floor?
it goes across, backing up,
Then
it goes,
a loader just picks it all up and puts it together?
pushes it onto a 100-yard trailer. And yeah, when I say dumped on the floor, it goes across the scale, dumps onto our MRF, a material recovery facility floor. They do an eyeball inspection for contamination, and then it's loaded onto a 100-yard trailer.
But even if
shipped out.
it's sorted, it then gets single stream
No,
again?
if it's sorted, aluminum, plastics, yes, that gets sorted. If it's cardboard alone,
But does that tin and everything else, does that stay sorted or does it
it gets mixed in.
mixed back up again?
It gets pushed in and mixed. Cardboard's the only thing that we push to the side and we can bale and mark it directly from Rochester.
So therefore, we did separate recyclables up there for like tin, non-cardboard separate recyclables. There's no real discount because.
There's none, unfortunately. I looked at every angle and I
That's what
started.
you're driving at, right?
Exactly, and I looked at doing that, Chip, directly, but sending it down to Bill Rick, Mass from here, it is, minimum.
It's not cost effective.
It would be probably 450 plus a haul, and then you're processing on top of all that. So to the nuts and bolts of it, I did come up with. One for you too. May have an extra copy if you'd like one, sir. No, okay. It's a little, let me grab my glasses. It's a little busy, but let me go over this with you. Again, up top, it just breaks down what you guys average for single stream recycling. It's about 412 tons annually, basically 34 a month. I rounded down a little bit. It's 34.333, but we estimate in that load, there's about approximately 6 tons of recyclable material, or 72 tons annually. Remaining tons is 340 or 28 monthly. So if you look at kind of the middle section, option number 1, I broke it out by, if we, again, it's an estimate, could be more, could be less.
OCC estimate is, what's OCC?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's old corrugated cardboard.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's our acronym for
So you're
cardboard.
thinking the cardboard out of the 412.
Cardboard.
There's 72 of cardboard. Got it.
Approximately, could be more,
Yeah.
could be less. We're looking at an average load,
Yeah.
what we see.
Yeah.
So about 6 tons, we would be able to rebate $15 a ton. And that's a formula that we use, which is down below. We use the OCC, the cardboard index, number 11, less the processing, because there's still a processing charge. Even though the value right now is at 65, we'd have to charge 50, but there's still a $15 rebate to the town. But that'll fluctuate up and down monthly. It's been stable for the last 6-7 months, which I like to see it kind of creep back up, but it's been stable. So the $15 per ton would be $90 charge. I'm estimating that that haul charge of $345, that's basically 2 hauls. I'm estimating it would probably about 2 hauls of cardboard coming out of here. Could be 1, could be 3, but I'm estimating 2. So your charge of $345, then you subtract your 90 rebate, the charge will be $255 to the town. And change, $255.12. Now, if you were to keep recycling the remaining tons, that's the 28 month, well, your current charge is 105. So 105 times the 28 would be that 2940 plus your haul charge, and I'm estimating 6 hauls, and that's conservative because we wouldn't be compacting this anymore. So you'd probably be looking at a little bit more hauls because it'd be in some type of roll off that doesn't compact. But I went with 6 hauls just to give you kind of a ballpark. Again, at the $172 a haul, which you're currently paying, gives you that $1,035 plus your processing will be $39.75. So if you add that plus your cardboard up top, your total monthly figure charge to the town would be $4,230.48. That was option number 1. Option 2, same thing applies for the cardboard. And then the remaining tons is, and again, I'm not condoning this or preaching this, but if the town chose to throw the rest in the MSW compactor, that's what your charge would be. At 28 tons at $102.43 a ton would be $68.04 for the month. Then add your 2 cardboard hauls would be just over 31. And the third and final option is what you're currently doing at your current formula at 105 right now. Yeah.
So I'm looking at what we're currently doing at $4,950.48 a month. Versus option 2 at $3,123 a month. It's a savings of almost $2,000 a month to the town. It's $24,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
To change over to just separated cardboard.
And again, throwing everything else away. But
Right.
that's a town decision, not a waste management.
But that's about, I mean, and I'm not saying exactly, I'm saying approximately $24,000 a year in savings to the town. And we could always go back, if another item picks up in rebates to the town for recycling that, we could always communicate that to the people and start separating out that item, correct?
You could, and again, I think I mentioned this last time, a lot of factors play into this now, right? You gotta look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Lebanon says, all we're gonna do is our cardboard, everything else is gonna be thrown away. Fine, that's your decision. We respect that. You gotta do what you have to do, and I get it, right? I put my city council hat on. You gotta look at cost and benefits and, what can the taxpayer afford? Totally understand. But Lebanon does that. Next thing you know, we have Berwick, then we have people in New Hampshire, and everybody starts throwing their recycling away. What's gonna happen? Well, your disposal for MSW is gonna go up. You're probably gonna ask, well, why? Well, simply capacity.
Right.
In our landfill or incinerators is capacity, and it's gonna drive pricing up. So there's something, it wouldn't happen overnight, but I'm seeing the trend starting to creep up for per ton right now. And the more and more, because capacity at the end of the day is an issue. We sell airspace, it's a landfill. And eventually that's gonna be done, it's gonna be capped. And then your trash from here, who God knows where it'll be, it's a lot further away.
Right, but it would change at that point.
Right. But in the short term, again, if people start throwing everything away right now,
It happens fast.
it's gonna happen a lot quicker, and capacity is gonna go shorter, which drives up rates. So that's one thing, and then the other factor you got at the town, I think, really should consider, is you have a robust program already in place. You change can be difficult, easy change, but the guys and ladies at the transfer station have to police it, because if you go just cardboard, we want clean cardboard.
That was gonna be my question, what about contamination?
And then a contamination charge would be a factor. If it was contaminated, it depends. I mean, we'd allow.
It's gotta be OCC, so for example, like a pizza box is not OCC,
No.
or it's contaminated, it's both, right, it's not really.
I mean, I did see some clean, the box itself, not many come out this way, because there's usually grease that leaks through, or cheese on top, or something.
What makes it good?
Yeah, I know, I agree. But 90% of those pizza boxes are contaminated because of that. But if it was just a clean box, recycle it all day. That's cardboard, it can be recycled. But it's the grease. So the contamination rate, we would look at, I have to look at the contract. I think it's anywhere from 7.5% to 10% contamination threshold that we would allow. And that's subjective too, right? Your 10% versus my 10% of a pile might be slightly different. But they do a real good job at looking at it, and if they have to really get granular, I mean, they can really dig in. Not that I want our guys, because they're busy enough.
But they get a feel for it, like.
They get a feel.
This one's borderline, maybe we need to look, or it's okay, it's
Yeah.
not okay.
Exactly, Chip, and they would look at it, and if they notice, that load from Lebanon was right on the cusp, and I'm gonna keep a real close eye on it. Next time, then they dig in, probably, they might let that one slide. The next one, they would really dig in and dig in. But those are the options. Again, what you had mentioned about doing that, sure, the town could go back to it. You gotta weigh all options. If you stop and just go cardboard, how will the town react? Number one, they're so used to recycling. I do have communities that talked about it right now are biting the bullet. There is a big cost and they know it, but their constituents and residents wanna do the right thing and recycle. But there's a cost associated with it. And, yeah, I'm sorry.
So the right thing and recycle, but most of these items are still not being recycled, right?
No, everything's being recycled. You gotta remember, there is contamination stuff in there, right? That stuff gets weeded out. I would recommend if you wanna come down and take a look at our facility, you can actually, it's in Billerica, Mass, but if you guys ever wanted to take a tour, I could set it up. You get there, have to be early in the morning so you can see the process. You could see it dumped on the floor, and you know, you'd have the old hard hats and the glasses and the yellow vests on, but we could take you from A right down to Z where it comes out, and then you could see all the residual stuff that's actually garbage on the back end. You'd be surprised, bowling balls, I showed you the list. And just other type of plastics that are not recyclable, like that water bottle on the desk, that has a neck, that's recyclable. It's that hard plastic stuff that you buy this and it's in that real tough plastic, you need a chainsaw to open it. That type of plastic just has no market right now. Will it ever? I don't know. But right now it's a challenge. And people are very gung-ho to recycle, and it's great. They want to drive recycling rates up, but it's wish recycling. It's not really the true nature. And I tell people now, just get back to the basics. You know, recycle your cardboard, your paper, your empty plastic bottles, anything with a neck, all recyclable.
And that would save us if we went back to just recycling those things.
It's still going to be paying, because this not only affects you. This is a global thing, right? I don't even go global. It's the whole, United States. It's the market is just values are real down, and the cost to processing everything is extremely high right now. That shift is going to come, and eventually it'll plateau, and I think you'll see, we're investing millions in different type of equipment for screening and stuff to clean up our recycling, but it's driving up our costs. We're slowing production down, longer hours, which drives up costs, so it just takes longer and costs more to recycle. And people, years ago, we were making money. Those days are long gone, and it's the sad nature of the beast right now.
If we were to do option one, how would we separate out cardboard versus regular recycling? Where would we put?
Well, yes, the other thing is we would have to supply another type of container. We would, because you're gonna be putting all your mixed paper in there. I would recommend removing glass right away and throwing it out. Or you have two options with the glass. One option, throwing it in your MSW. Or another option is putting it in another open top. There'd be a haul charge, which is at $172, and then $35 a ton to bring it to waste management. We wouldn't recycle it, but we would repurpose the glass, meaning using it for road base when we do our expansions, pipe bedding. So you can get glass out of that, but we would then, for the remaining recycling, and that would probably take about 7 tons a month out of your remaining recycling. If you did that, then the rest would go into another open top container, charged that $172 and change a haul, and then the processing. Because it'd still be basically single stream minus cardboard and glass.
Right.
So.
And the cardboard and stuff has to be clean though, right?
Clean cardboard, and again, we allow that 7.5 to 10% threshold for contamination. And
But you get a cardboard box with a couple pieces of styrofoam in it with the plastic in it that gets thrown in there, that's all contamination, correct?
yes, but again, they're gonna look at this, and again, out of the whole aggregate load, you get a load, say it's 3.5 tons. They're gonna look at 10% of that. Is that contaminated? I haven't heard of any major contamination rates from the town right now. I haven't heard, which is great. Not saying it doesn't occur, I just haven't seen any or it hasn't gotten back to me yet. Because if it did, then I'd be, giving you guys a call or an email, hey guys, we gotta do something.
You'd almost have to have somebody stand right there at the cardboard.
Yeah.
You really think that people are not able to comprehend the word cardboard?
You'd be surprised.
What is your average, across your other places? Do you think that people
Well, let's put this in perspective, right? Single stream recycling came along to make recycling easier for everyone, and it did.
Right.
But it also drove contamination.
That's what it did.
Then you go to other communities that, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, that, I think town of Alton, Tamworth did it, Wakefield. They have a barn, up in Maine, Belgrade, Maine. Another location where they have a barn and they have actual visuals in different bins or slots in the barn or openings. Oh, my mixed paper goes here. Oh, my plastic, that goes here, and right down. They're still being charged to recycle it. Well, they do it a little bit different. They're trying to play the market. They bail it up in Belgrade. But other communities, they do separate it. but it's almost need pictures to show people what to recycle and what not.
I'm a great photographer.
Well, pictures in actual bottles and actual containers, just to show people what's acceptable and what's not. But I'm not saying people can't do it, I just think you'll get people that, by human nature, we're all lazy. I'm guilty of it. You know, it's right there, I forgot to throw it away, I'm just gonna throw it here, jump back in my car and I'm gone. It's gonna happen. And I think I told you when I was here before, when I was at the transfer station, it was last year, but I just happened to look into the recycling hopper and there was a plunger there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, so things happen, stuff gets in there. I'm not saying people aren't smart enough,
But within our 7 to 10% range, I mean, it doesn't sound like it would be a norm. I mean, how you represent a lot of communities, how often is it past that 7 to 10%?
Not often. I think the more contamination that I'm seeing are more on curbside programs that have the carts or toters like Rochester does, because it's hidden. My driver, pulls up, he doesn't even have to get out now, picks it up, he dumps it. Now, he has a screen, there is a camera up top, if it's not dirty, because sometimes dust and stuff, but he can see what's in there, and all of a sudden a blue bag comes out. What the heck was that? It's too late, because he can't go up, it's in the hopper of the truck, he can't get it out until we get back to the MRF. So people try to hide stuff, but that's where we see most of the contamination is more on curbside with carts. And we do see it with single stream like the town of Lebanon has here with a compactor. We do see it, not as often because there's people, walking around in his eyes, so people do try to sneak things in. But to me, I try to tell everyone, and I meet everyone I talk to, that if, when in doubt, throw it out. If you're not sure and you can't find the right, throw it out, because it's probably not. Don't wish recycling. Just go back to the basics of keep all your food waste and wet stuff out, no plastic bags, and recycle your cardboard, empty plastic bottles, aluminum and tin, you're gonna be good. It's all this extra weird plastic that's driving a lot of contamination.
Thank you.
Sure. That's the ugly truth.
Any other questions?
Are you coming on April 13th?
Yes, ma'am, I will be there. I have some giveaways and some paperwork to hand out and answer questions. Some swag, but that'll be gone quick. They let me buy stuff once a year at the beginning of the year, and my budget is getting smaller and smaller and smaller every year, so we're not immune to it either. But that's what I had, folks, and if you ever have any questions, more concerns, just give me a shout, email, call, whatever you guys need.
Thank you.
And I will see you on April 13th.
You will.
Perfect.
Unless I have another question, then I'll call you.
Please do. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, great. Great seeing you, sir. Great seeing you again. Laura, great seeing you. Oh, excuse me for reaching. Good to see you.
Nice job, putting this together.
Oh, thank you. And again, you think of something, I can run numbers any way you want, but like I said, to separate everything and come up with 5 different containers for all the commodities and to ship them down. And I didn't include rent in that.
Right.
Because it would be a rental probably. I could probably get away with 1 can, but if I had 5 or 6, I couldn't. So it's perfect.
Great,
Thank you, folks. Great seeing
Bye,
you.
thank you.
Take care. Take care now.
Chief, you bless us with your presence.
Yes. Figured you might want to hear it from me, maybe.
Well,
Just building the fire and.
Is that last night?
Yeah.
since you bring it up, I had him, so remember when we voted on this reporting system and software to, right? That's what all this was done with, right? Yeah. So this was,
That was the press release from
that was a
JT.
press release, and then there's actually another report that goes into a little bit more detail. But I just thought this was slick as you know what. Very professional, very,
That's all, right there, that's all the doings of Deputy Harmon.
I just thought it was really,
We knew it wasn't you.
No.
All I know is you had a very good turnout, because I was front row seat.
Yeah,
They were all going up the back road there, it's like one after the other. Sanford, Lebanon, I don't know who else, but they kept coming.
even good staff from us, and we had 11 of our guys there. So that's a pretty good turnout.
Good.
So it was just a chimney fire.
well,
Chimney fire to the wall.
the chimney fire extended into the wall. They had a chimney fire earlier in the day. They had actually, the tenants called the landlord, and the landlord just told them to close the damper and the fire will go out, and not to call the fire department. So
Probably regretting that decision, wasn't it?
yeah, well, I probably a little. Our methods of fighting a chimney fire are totally different from what people believe. People believe we're just going to take water and spray it down the chimney. That's not how we do it, unless it's, we've exhausted all efforts, and then we have to. But usually it's dry chemical powder from a fire extinguisher. We just drop it in a little bag. It goes down in, usually puts the fire out, and then we use weights and chains and clean it out. Last night they closed the damper, didn't call us. Probably about 6 to 7 hours later, they smelled a lot of smoke and checked in behind the bed, and the wall was on fire. It just started coming out through the wall.
On the first floor, second floor?
The first floor. It was in the L of the farmhouse. So it's right in that space where, there's maybe a basement, there isn't, happened to be a sub-basement. So it burned through the wall, also got down into the floor joists, and I think that maybe the floor joists have been burning for days, possibly. So, with our new technology of our new thermal imager that we bought, we were able to find, where the actual fire was hidden, rip out what we had to, and we caused very minimal damage compared to what we would have had to done without the thermal imaging camera. So we had, the crews were there quick. I happened to be the first one there. Knowing it was a farmhouse and old, wasn't gonna take any chances, so I called for a first alarm assignment just to have that extra, the tank, the water and stuff. I hate farmhouse fires because it's just old construction balloon type where it just, if it started in the fire and started on the second floor, you're gonna have a fire in the basement. So, so basically that's what we ended up doing, was calling in the extra help, and had a good response from our department and also other departments. We were able to get out in both tank trucks and both engines, plus an ambulance and the utility truck. So everybody knows that, even though you're close to the fire, that we need to get the trucks and the water there. So everyone knows they're heading to the station now to grab the trucks and go. So, otherwise, it was a fairly busy night.
No injuries?
We had a lot of people fall because the driveway was slick.
Oh, ice.
And plus it was just snowing. So they had that light snow. So a lot of people fell. Knock on wood, there was 3 of us that didn't. So
You were one of them?
I was one of them.
Oh, good.
So, so we had one, when he went down, he wrapped his knee pretty good. So he did not require any medical attention, but we did fill out a first report of injury just in case. So we actually, the amount of water we put on the fire was from two fire extinguishers, water from that. But we pulled lines just in case, and because like I said, it's an old house. So we were getting ready to actually go in a little in depth of it if we had to. So, but it was a busy night. There was another call where we lost, that I wasn't able to attend. They had an oil tank, probably about 150, 200 gallons of oil leaked out and underneath the trailer, and so the guys threw pads down. Yeah, threw pads down. DEP came down, cleaned everything up, and
This has been pretty cold, so probably it was kind of gelish, wasn't it?
well, no, it was a delivery that day,
fresh.
and the only thing is they're not using oil. That tank hasn't been used in years, so they have no idea who dropped it off. They don't know,
Oh my gosh,
so there's no idea right now.
wow.
So DEP came down, cleaned up the pads last night, and they were supposed to go back today to get in under the ice and the oil from that. So, and as soon as we cleared the fire at 1 something this morning, they went out for an overdose. So it was a busy night for the guys and girls. So that we were able to handle it all and go from there. So, on another front, the new ambulance, it's licensed by the state. All the equipment is on board. It's ready to go. We're just getting people trained on it before we let it go, because this truck's totally different. It's a different animal. So it rides and drives differently. So everyone's got to get familiar with it.
We got bumper cushions on those mirrors?
We're surprised, but the actual truck is a little bit narrower than the current one that we have and we're running. So
Really?
yeah, it's a little bit taller, but it's a little narrower. So right now we've got crews out training. If people see the truck out driving around, we're not joyriding. We're trying to get everybody trained. Normally, when a new truck comes in, we require them to have 6 hours of training of driving itself, 3 hours during the day, 3 hours at night. But we've cut that back on this truck to an hour and a half day, hour and a half night, because everybody's certified to drive an ambulance as is. So it's just trying to get familiar.
Size and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but that's where we're at, and just wanted to let you guys know. Go from there.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sweet update.
Yeah, no worries. We'll see you next Thursday night too, right?
Wednesday? Is
Maybe
he
not.
coming
Do you
Wed-
want him next Thursday, or we're gonna put Scott? 'Cause Scott can make it tonight.
Okay, if you want to throw Scott in, that's fine, or whatever. Whatever, yeah. But I
You don't have anything special?
no, not right now. We're just low key, training, taking it easy. We have Wednesday night the budget board, so I'll have everything done. I've revamped my budget, and I brought it down quite a bit. But I've let people realize, yes, we're a small town department, but the department needs so much to get back to where it should be. So I've cut some of the costs back in some of the line items, and I'm going to try to eliminate some of the stuff we're asking for the CIP, the extras like we were asking. I do want to go for that one person for the overnight still, but I only want to go for the stretcher as well. So that does cut back quite a bit on the CIP.
Well, also think about the different CIPs like the SCBA.
Correct.
That we just started last year?
Yep.
As far as what
That we
amounts
still
you
need to maintain.
what amounts you wanna put in those?
Yep. Okay. So, but I've dialed it back because, fiscal responsibility, I understand, and trying to look out for the taxpayers, but also need to do something to upgrade us as well. So, we're working at it and doing it slowly. So, anything else for us? No. Press releases, I know we talked about I have thoughts and stuff on press releases. I don't personally like to put out a lot of press releases because, I mean, it's a unfortunate incident of people that live in town. And a lot of people are private and they don't want their information or what happened to them to be out in public. I personally, if we do a press release, I'd like to just say, yes, we responded to a fire on Smith Road. Not the number, or anything like that, because people's lives, I mean, this is what, people get mad and upset, and, we're trying to give them some comfort as well.
Well, that's why I kind of like this. This was really basic. It gave you all the really, for the public, it gave the only information that needed. There's no private information,
Right.
No names, no.
Yeah. So we're trying to work into that. We don't plan on doing a press release for every single call. It's gonna be more of, some of the major incidents possibly, stuff like that.
Yep.
So.
Well, you had other towns involved in this one, so it brings more attention.
Yeah. Yep. We had the run cards when I came here. We're decent. There's some things that need to be really tweaked. We had a truck show up from Durham, New Hampshire last night. So, and then by the time they got here, we were clearing trucks already. They were an important part of the process because we, by mandates of Bureau of Labor Standards and OSHA, we have to have what we call a rapid intervention team on site in case a firefighter goes down in the fire. So they have to go in, and it takes more than just 3 or 4 people to bring a firefighter out. And they showed up with their crew, which was I think 3 or 4, but it was 45 minutes into the fire. So we're doing some revamping of everything. Trying to go a little bit more locally. We have reached out to, I know it sounds a little further, we have reached out to Newington, New Hampshire, and they've actually reached out to us first. They actually are set up as well for a rapid intervention team, but they're also right next to the highway, so they can get on 16 and scoot. Durham, New Hampshire, they've got to come through Durham, across to Dover, get on the highway and go up. So we're trying to work things out with everybody and go over there. We've been added to Newington's run cards for an engine on their third alarm assignments, which could happen down there because they got larger houses, they got businesses, they've got stuff like that. So we could be going down there often if they have a fire. Ambulances, same thing. We're on their run cards and everything for ambulances. So, but we're reaching out to other communities, and they're very responsive to us because of, 1, we have tank trucks. 2, we have, right now we've got 2 ambulances that could be useful for mass casualties or stuff like that. So we're working on some of the stuff and trying to revamp a little bit. So, okay.
Sounds good. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome. We'll enjoy your weekend. Lock me in this time then.
Okay. With the board's permission, I'd like to, Mr. Cavallaro speak, and
Sure.
we'll come to the public afterwards. So.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you for being patient.
Yep. These you can pass out to them so they can read. This is pretty much what it is. It's a town issue. You guys do have to address it because you're the town. And something has to be done. Letters like this are gonna stop being sent out weekly all over. The letters will be changed until something gets addressed.
What is it? Thank you.
It's important, just like the fire department is. The key to make it work is that it has to be managed within you guys, because you guys kind of are like constables. Years ago, the town and the Miranda's was that. You guys could actually charge somebody and not go and arrest them, but you can charge them and bring it to the courts. I don't know how the times have changed. I haven't looked into it, okay? But I really have concerns with it. In the beginning, when you guys see me, when I was doing my projects and stuff, I was under a lot of pressure, okay? So I might have been a little bit out of my character. And I'm also a head injury person too, so sometimes I don't think clearly. And I get very upset when I'm being bullied and threatened. So I might have not conducted myself properly. And I just feel that you guys think that I'm nothing. And you guys pacify me. You know, all the time when I try to leave messages for phone calls, I filled out your written town complaint forms that you guys have. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Which is a good idea anyways, okay? I never get called back on. I've even left messages for you yourself to call me. You've never called me. So if we manage, and I know that the town in the past had bad blood, and this is before me because, I may be 49, but I'm still considered to be young. I know you guys had police here before, and it didn't work out. I don't know why it didn't work out, but I know if you manage and you have them like employees, and you have like a game plan like you did with the fire department here, okay? It will work and it will be more feasible and cost effective. The state police, even though you guys don't pay for them and you have them, because I've been up to the governor's office and everywhere. It all comes back to us. It's a town issue. They're not gonna. The state police, they had actually told me if I don't like it, move. I'm not moving. I've been a corporation business in this town since 1995. Fired. And I got a handicapped kid. I love the town of Lebanon. Town of Lebanon is a family-oriented place. That's the way it should be, And I'm not going anywhere. I just built a mansion over in Lebanon, and then I got a trailer right beside me that's only worth $7,000, but I got a $400,000 house. See what I'm saying? I'm not going anywhere. I like this town. I love this town. But unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with you guys. Again, I don't know what the books are. I know the town has grown because I'm in construction. This town has grown unbelievable. Just like you have employees here. You can hire them, you can pay them. The bracket is $25 to $35 for a police person, okay? The amount of money that you just paid for ambulances and the fire trucks, I can see what's going on with the network. Because yes, the town will make some money if they go out to other calls. I understand that. But you still can go buy used police cars for like 10 grand, not even. You can go to the government and there's forms to fill out that will help the town get some money. So if you have 4, because they're gonna need backup. So you're gonna have to have 2 on certain times. It's just a stepping stone. All they need is a desk. All the other law enforcements, they don't have jail cells, they bring everybody to Alfred. That's where they do all their booking and so forth. So if you pay them as an employee, you'll be able to manage them better. Not like when a state trooper, you make a phone call, okay? They don't call you for 5 hours later. A sheriff, they'll come when they wanna come and they'll do what they wanna do. That's not helping, the townspeople. And the money that they want is ridiculous. And then it's a slap in the face, when we have officials that is trying to have a meeting with them to get policing, okay, because you guys looked into it, then turn around and say, why should we have to pay the sheriff's department when we can have the state troopers for free? That just hurts us. So when all this stuff that comes out, in situations for the townspeople, like the chief said, people want to be private and so forth. But if you start not being, and I don't know the choice of words, I can't, I say it in my head, but I can't get it out, it's my energy just does it. So the words that I say, what I'm trying to get at is, if you bully a person instead of helping them, you get all this animosity. So when you pull up to the town office, then you have to come here to do something, whether it's register or pay your taxes. You get all like this because you don't feel like you're being helped. Anytime you want to do something, okay, it's like if somebody goes and does it upon themselves, right, and does it, you guys get upset and there's consequences for that, right? But people that come and ask for the help should get the help and not suffer the repercussion because of other people's actions. You know what I'm saying? You should help that person that can, whether they can do a project or whatever they're here for, and if they can't do it, and explain to them, take the time, okay? Because these people don't work, they may have paperwork, whatever, and I'm not saying that they don't work hard enough, but you know what? There's plenty of time in a day to have that relationship. That's what the town of Lebanon was, and it's not that anymore. People have that bad sour because they think all you guys have these agendas. And again, I don't know, I'm busy, I'm running a business too, I've got a family, I got a handicapped child that I've got to pay so much for medication, I'm upset about what that letter is, and I didn't come here thrashing out and doing all, I don't want to belittle anybody. Put it in writing, letting you know, letters like this are gonna go out. They're gonna go all the way to Washington, and something's gonna happen, all right? I don't want, you to think that I hate the town, that, I hate you, but you're in that position. You're here to do something and help the people, and we're not being safe. That's part of your duty. Just like you have a fire department, okay? Just like you have garbage. You've got to make sure that we're safe, not going to be diseased, and so forth. And on top of it, I get upset with legislator, how they say, it's okay to be a drug addict. It's okay because it's a sickness. I'm sorry, I have a different outlook at it. But they put in effect that all towns in Maine have to have a safe haven for these drug addicts to take their needles and be able to dispose of them and get clean ones, because of the CDC pushed this issue too, so that we don't have an epidemic of all the disease like out in Europe. Remember how it was bad in Europe? They were all out in the streets and stuff like that? Europe did it, so we kind of, I don't know if we thought that, but we're doing almost the same thing, but it's still bad. I wish they never ever made it where it was so easy for them to get syringes. You know what I'm saying? We would be better off if it was, legal. But now I have to worry now if I contracted anything from that needle, okay? And I'm not picking up garbage anymore at my house like I used to. I get garbage there every single day. Beer bottles, alcohol sniffs, garbage. And when I picked up that needle, I didn't even look. There were scratch tickets and a push-up pup and an ice cream. And it was on the opening, so when you pick up garbage, you're going to pick it up at the bag opening because you don't want the stuff falling out. That syringe was up there like they did it deliberately, okay? And I got pricked right in my thumb. So who's going to pay my medical bills now for 2 years that I have to go and get hepatitis B shots because there's 4 cycles, and I have to go and get blood work done to make sure I ain't got AIDS? Now what if I got AIDS and I was going to die, right? Just think of that. My family's going to be without me. Who do I blame? Who do I make responsible for that? Do you think I would go postal and take actions in my own hands? Would you? If you had grandkids and stuff, and you're never going to see them and you had 2 months to live, what would you do? Honestly. honestly, what would you do? I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, it's hard to answer unless you're in that position, but.
It's not hard. It's not hard. You lived a longer life than me, you have more experience than me, and you're wiser than me, right? It's not, it's simple. In the town of Lebanon, it's family oriented. I'm a worker, I pay my taxes, my home is my castle, and I want to enjoy my family. Isn't that what life is all about? I don't care what my neighbor does, I don't care what you do, but I do care because you're in a position looking out for the townspeople, okay? Something has to be addressed. And what I just wrote on there is more feasible, just like what you're doing for the fire department. We don't need outside law enforcement because all they're gonna do is themselves. I got robbed in October, had a witness, okay? Called the state police, they don't come for 5 hours, okay? They come down, they wrote one line on their police report. They don't even let you write out of a police report, okay? Called the witness, we knew who the person was that stole it, okay? They didn't go and charge him. I go and contact my homeowner's insurance. No, we don't see no report, we're not paying. So now I have to go hire a lawyer to go after my insurance company because the state police don't write reports out properly and so forth. You guys know, I've been in the news because it's the Wild Wild West. Lebanon's known as being lawless. That's unfortunate, and that's why we have all these drug problems. Unfortunately, I'm right on the line in New Hampshire. A lot of it from New Hampshire comes over, okay? And I'm on a lake. You think that that place would be more cleaner being on a lake, okay? So again, we have all this drugs coming, and there's no one to call. There's no one to call for anything. When I called the trooper about the syringe, I'm not coming to get that. Call the fire department. So it was President's Day, nobody was around. They came Tuesday. And I called and I, put a thing out in the news. Yeah, they edit stuff, but again, I'm not here to badmouth. We have a job to do, like I have a job. We have to do something and address it because it's getting out of control. All right, and on top of it, people from New Hampshire unfortunately come over and they dump their garbage right on our sides of the roads. I've had a couch for almost a year. As I come out to go over to New Hampshire, it's sitting right there by the water, Salmon Falls River, couches and tires. The tires are still there. And it's been a year. So it's like, we have things in place, we have code, and like for an example, he said about that oil tank that got filled and out of the blue, nobody doesn't know who filled it, okay? Because nobody doesn't want to be responsible and get a fine. We have homes that have oil tanks that have been outside for years, just like trailers. People, living there without floors and stuff like that, but we have a health department, which is a code officer, I believe. If I'm wrong, let me know. We got a code officer that doesn't go out and look at this stuff. We're in a rural housing world where change comes. Things don't last forever, and you have to accommodate and change with the change. We're not doing that. We have homes that are vacant that are like the fire guy said. Old wood, caused fire, burned the whole place down. You go right down the street from my house, that place has been since, I was born in the 70s. We used to come up here, my family come up here in the 50s. It was a camp, I remember being a little kid, 10 years old, walking in that place, and it's still there. It's all condemned, but how come nobody doesn't call the homeowner and say, hey, do it? But when I want to do a project, right, and I come and I ask, it's like a boat was rocked, and I have to go through all these obstacles to do it, but right in front of us. You need to write a letter to the person and say, hey, you gotta comply with this stuff. They don't comply, fine them. Let's get some more revenue if that's what we need. Same thing with New Hampshire vehicles. You know what I'm saying? When I had my business, I had it in New Hampshire, okay? I had some of my construction equipment at my house, all right? Somebody called in my neighborhood, because that's what people do. Did you know I had to change all my stuff from New Hampshire to Maine because I had some of my equipment? They watched me for a month. They say 30 days. If you got vehicles that are parked there every day for 30 days, the state did. I had to change everything in my business to Maine, which is okay. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, we have all these things that you guys put in place, and you're still putting things in place to where people with their land can't do certain things. And your reasoning isn't really, you know, a good enough a reason, because people still can go and challenge it and take it to court, and then things get different. So again, you know, the town's paying for all this legal stuff that's unnecessary, instead of trying to sit down and work and stop, you know, just like hitting the gavel on there. There's no more interaction anymore, you know, and it's everywhere. And I hate it, because I don't want to be like that, and I am like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to go help my neighbor, but there's so many risks involved. You know what I mean? And the saying, out of sight, out of mind, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to be, and that's not how I am. You know, I changed my whole business from not doing public work anymore. I do commercial work now, you know? And I hate it, because I do like to interact with people, and I love to help people, especially people that can't afford stuff. I don't mind helping them. I feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? So I just have some concerns, and something has to be done. I hope you'll take this seriously, because it's been a struggle. You know, you guys see me, you know, in the papers probably. I got arrested a couple times because of these renters and this drug stuff. It's like the Wild Wild West. I feel like I got to take care of my, you know, my own, and I shouldn't have to. You know, I can't get a bad criminal record because I do work at the shipyard and Pease Air Force Base. You know, they won't let me in, and something has to get done. You know, I have such a paper trail for 3 years in law enforcement with me making phone calls, 911 recorders. That's why I don't get in trouble. It costs me a lot of money for lawyers, which is ridiculous. Okay. And it's all because the town won't help and won't do anything. And it's your duty. It is your duty. You have to, okay? And somebody eventually will make you do it. And I'm not that I'm trying to be an ass. I don't want to be an ass. But we need a plan. I need you to tell me something. You know, take a little bit of your time, think about it, but not a long time, okay? See what you can do. I'm willing to help out with the first vehicle. Okay, if need be. You can have employees, and I will continue to keep helping, as if I can. You know what I'm saying? If you guys implicate this, I will. Okay, I ain't got a problem with it. Because when the troopers come, and the only time they come down to my neighborhood is when I gotta call my attorney. When they come down, it is dead silence there. There is no activity. It's like the welfare drug addicts that are pushing the pills and the needles get on the phone and say, don't come down, the troopers are here. It is quiet. My neighborhood is like a highway, and there ain't that many homes there, all hours of the night, flying in and out, okay? But again, it's not the troopers' responsibility. You guys have to get that out of your head. They're just not really doing us a favor. They're just doing it because we're state of Maine, but it's our problem. They only have one trooper here. That's it. And if we have our own, they need to be in town, not on 202, okay? Because I heard stories about the police department that we had before, just always hung out on 202 and wrote tickets. The thing that I don't understand, and I don't know all about the law stuff, I know about moving by vehicle, speeding tickets and stuff. I know that it goes to the bureau vehicle, and those tickets get split up, you know, among the courts and stuff. I don't know if there's any tickets like loitering or littering, if it would come back to the town. All I know is all the moving violations don't come to the police department. They go to the courts, the district attorney, or, you know, academies. They break it up in percentages. I thought that the local police department should get a percentage. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there is. I've researched a little bit, you know, to what I could find. And I don't know if that's true. If that's true, then that's beneficial for us. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, something has to be done, because there's other people too that I know that have break-ins, and the same thing, the troopers didn't come. I got a friend down the street, he owns a business, he's wired with ADT, that when the alarm goes off at his house, it goes right to the police department. They never showed up. Never came. You know? So again, we're not getting the service that we need. And, you know, unfortunately, we shouldn't expect that from them. you know, because they have gone to legislator and they argued, and they said that they don't have enough manpower, even from the academy, you know what I'm saying, to hire, nor will they let them. So it puts you in a situation. And again, I don't want it to be the Wild Wild West. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to worry. I should be able to come home and relax. I should be able to go down to my beach property and join my child and not have to worry what's going on. You know, I shouldn't have to worry about my neighbor next door that has an old oil tank that's leaking out, or that has all these wild rabbits that are out of control and they're all over the neighborhood eating everybody's plants that they go and buy in the summertime to plant to try to make a yard right. You know, it just goes on and on and on. I know that I do what I'm supposed to do as a citizen, you know. Yeah, I have a dog. I don't even walk my dog in the neighborhood because I'm not going to pick its crap up. It's going to be in my yard, I'll rake it up, you know. I respect other people's stuff, you know what I mean? And I have had people that just come walk in the neighborhood and they let their dog shit. I don't go look. I can go up to the mailbox, I step right in it, okay? I have my mailbox vandalized. I've had my home vandalized. I've had my construction equipment vandalized. I caught them all on video surveillance. Troopers come down, don't do a thing, don't write a report, nothing. Well, I had to make a stink. I had to call the postal police, all this other stuff. I got to keep my driveway, you know, plowed for them to come, which is okay because I got a horseshoe driveway. I'm the only one in that neighborhood that has my mailbox right up at my front door. All right, but the police won't go and arrest that person that I got on video that kicked it and broke it. You know what I'm saying? So it is a problem. We have to address it. I don't really know where you live. I don't know if you got a long driveway and you're out in the woods. I'm in a rural area, and it definitely needs something. And the problem is, you know, it's gonna have to get addressed because if something ever goes wrong, and I'm hoping, like I said with that needle, that I don't have anything terminal, you know, because I'll be another Ted Bundy. I'll be in the history. And then how are you guys gonna address it? You may think it's all funny and joyful, but you know, this is serious. You know, I wanna see my kid get married, and I wanna be a grandfather, okay? And I'm not moving. I'm staying here in Lebanon. I'm here. Those letters, they're gonna be all different, and I'm gonna send them out weekly, everywhere. And eventually somebody will look at it, and they're gonna eventually come. And then what are you gonna do? You know, you gotta address it. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to do something. I feel you can, because it's no different than having employees. And you'll be able to manage them. But you have to manage them. I don't know how you're managing the fire department, but this guy is like business tuned. He's trying to make his department feasible. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know all about the law and the police. I don't know how it can be feasible, but we have to do something. We're in the 2000th century here. You know what I'm saying? We have to. Lebanon has grown, and there's no reason why. And even like waste management, yeah, unfortunately you have to put signs up or pictures. People will do it. They will recycle. You have to have the signage up there. You pay people, and again, I don't want to sound like the bad guy. You pay people up there. There's enough people up there, but they're either sitting in a chair, but if you pull up to the dumpster, you know, where you got to pay money, they'll come run up and make sure. But they're not watching everybody else. They're supposed to be helping. You know, there's some elderly people out there that struggle. Sometimes I even get out and help. You know what I mean? If I see someone, you know, struggling with the bag. You have the employees. You need to just manage a little bit. You know, it might be overwhelming, all this stuff, but you know what? You got 2 other people helping you. You know, I don't know. I heard that there was a vote to have 5 selectmen. I think it's crazy. But you have all these people here, even people in the office stuff, that can help you, you know? You have to manage this stuff. It's a problem. Kids have to get safe, you know, be safe. You know, we don't have any policing. Yeah, the roads are bad. We have a lot of drunks that drive around and throw their alcohol out. What happens when a kid gets hit? Killed. You know what I'm saying? And like the fire stuff, you know, I mean, there's risks there too. There's tons of liability. things have to change. You know, this isn't the 50s anymore, you know? And Lebanon, unfortunately, is known as lawless Lebanon, and everybody comes. You know, we have a lot of renters in here, and people that own these places that don't care about them, they're dumps. You know, you gotta get the code guy out there, you gotta send letters. You have to. You have these ordinances, you know? I know when I get a letter, like I told you the story, I have my vehicles registered in New Hampshire, my business. They watched me for a month and said, you gotta go do it. I went and did it, you know? I'm not gonna, you know, the law's the law, but we allow it. You go in my neighborhood, tons of New Hampshire plates, 5 or more vehicles that are trash, trucks with metals all over it, you know what I mean? But then you wanna tax me because I built a nice new house, you know what I mean? Which I'll never get if I ever wanted to sell, you know? I built it because I'm staying, and it's my castle, and I want to be happy, so shouldn't I have the right to build? But if I'm gonna pay, I want the town of Lebanon to make sure I'm safe and my family's safe. And it's your duty to make sure of it, you know? Especially with these syringe and needles. I know there's been plenty of calls. I know down at Reynard's Pit, there was a big thing about that. They gotta come back after the snow melts. Where's all that contaminant? What about all the people that walk the power lines and the dogs and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? It's a problem. And legislators said that every town has to have a safe haven for these drug addicts. And it's a joke. So something has to get done. And I don't want to be the guy that, you know, I don't want to take matters in my own hands. I shouldn't have to. You know what I'm saying? I should not have to. And that's all I'm trying to say, you know? We need the help, and where I come from, where I grew up, it was like, you don't run your mouth, and if you had a problem with somebody, you have to put the living fear in them for them to leave you alone. So that's why I'm wired that way, because that's how it always is, you know? But nothing is happening here. And it's a problem, and something just it has to be done, you know? And that's all I have to say. The town is the parent, and us townspeople are the kids. You have to make sure we're safe, and you have to guide us. You can't just, you know, bully and say, no, you can't do this or that or whatever. Explain to them why, you know? That's all it takes. And that's it. So I just hope you guys will really do something, because I don't want to rock the boat. I just want you guys to roll it around and see what we can do, you know? Because something has to be done. Because we're not getting help from anybody. And it'd be ridiculous to have a contract with the sheriff's department. Ridiculous. We don't need a police department. All they need is a table, chair, and a phone. The public doesn't need to come in. It's a number. It's the same as how you call 911, okay? They do all the booking right up at the Alfred jail. They sign you all in there, bail you right out. They don't go and take you anywhere else. There's no cost. All it is an hourly rate and a vehicle. And the vehicle's not gonna cost you that much. You know what I'm saying? And you can get an incentive from the government if you fill out the paperwork. Just ask. If I was a selectman, I'd be making all the phone calls. You know, getting the help. There's help out there for the town. But you gotta make the phone call. And you can't feel embarrassed if you don't know all the answers and you ask. You know? You're only human. I don't know everything, I go and I ask. Because I don't wanna, you know, look like a jerk and portray something that you don't know. You know? So you just gotta ask. It's just, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. We can afford it, but we've gotta do it smartly. And that's it. And just see what happens. You know? Because it'd be ridiculous to hire and have a contract, you know, because you have no say. They're gonna tell you, you don't want that. Because we'll be in the same situation. You know what I'm saying? They're only gonna do what's gonna benefit them. Okay, we need something that's gonna benefit the town. Whether it's more revenue on violations, I don't know. But I do know that those tickets get broken up within the state. a percentage. I don't know what we can get, you know what I'm saying? But I can tell you we have code in the house, and again, I'm rambling on about all these houses that are all decrepit, you know what I'm saying, that need to be upgraded. You know, I called last year, and I started making the stink because when I did my project, you guys made it rock the boat for me. It made it very difficult, which was ridiculous, because it was gonna happen one way or another, okay? Legally, not that I was just gonna go do it. Well, I called about an oil tank that was dripping. I called about people living in campers in their driveways. They have a trailer and they get their kids in a camper in the driveway, you know? And I called the state, the health department come up because of the rabbits and the rats, you know? And I don't know if he was on, I think he was, this code officer. They had till before winter or something to change that oil tank. They were told. They never did, the tank's still there. And they were supposed to clean up all the animals' cages that they had outside. Never did. They're still living in that camper. And again, I've written those letters, what you guys request. I've talked with him, same thing. I had a contractor that stiffed me on my job, okay? The code guy writes the letter on the permit that everything he did, you know how they get the steps, framing, insulation, all that stuff? Well, he signed off on the permit for the guy. The guy never did the stuff. I came down here asking him, right, a few times. Then I called the governor's office. I walk in his office, right, you know, after weeks or months, because I'm busy running a company. I walk in there, he says, so what the hell? You don't call me, you don't do whatever. It's like, well, I'm not bothering with you because you called the governor's office. I says, because you ignore me, I asked you to come to my place and tell me and advise me, you know, what my options are. I can't go after this guy because he's got the signed permit that you signed that he did all the stuff when he didn't, okay? Well, then when he come to my house, he saw that all the stuff wasn't done, okay? There were no nails in the joist brackets, there were no strapping in the floor trusses. Still you go to my house, they're not, I have to do them, okay? He won't come, he won't rewrite anything. He won't say, well, at the time, I said, just write a letter, an explanation, not making yourself bad. Just say, hey, when I came, the guy said he was gonna do it, he didn't do it. Now he's not on the job for whatever reason, you know, the Kevlar family has to take care of it. He wouldn't do a thing, okay? And he doesn't even care. So I pay for a permit that doesn't have sign. I pay for 2 permits, because I paid for a garage, you know, when Mike was on, along with the shed down at whatever. I can't get no inspection. I go in there and he turns around and says, that was before my time, I don't care. You know, then I got mad and I walked real close up to him, right? And he said, you're in my space. I says, well, how's it feel? That's how you're making me feel. You know, I'm standing all alone and you won't come and do your job. I said, that's nice. Okay? So, what am I supposed to do? And I called you and left you messages.
Well, first off, you probably didn't call me.
I called your secretary and left a message for you to call me. At least a dozen times.
And the person you picked is?
Whoever's in the selectman's office. I say, is a selectman in? And I say, Paul, because I don't want to talk to nobody else. And they go, no. I says, can you have them give me a call? Never call me. I've done it a dozen times. So, and I just think that you guys think that I'm a joke. Maybe I'm a lunatic and I'm loud or what. That's just my personality. Not that I have an excuse that I have a head injury, but, you know, I've had a lot of bad dealings with this guy right here. You know? And I'm just, like I said, I pay my taxes. I'm never late. Never ever late. And I do what I'm supposed to do. And all I do is just get flack for it. And other people just live what they want to live, do what they want to do, and get away with it. Like the replanting that I have to do, I got guys on video surveillance. I think I sent it to Chip's phone. I sent it to Mike Morris. Right on the water, thrashing away with the chainsaw. How come nobody didn't want to get in trouble with him? Even this guy here, Steve. Same thing with Mike Morris. Mike will say, it's up to the code officer to do it out. He goes, believe me, I saw the picture. believe me, up to the code officer. But Al, who goes and gets a permit, DEP might have screwed up and gave the okay, but I still had to replant. I still replanted $5,000 worth of plants. You know what I'm saying? But you got a guy over there that's doing what he wants to do, but the town don't do it. Can you explain that? I'm gonna stop talking now. I wanna hear from you, I'm sorry for not giving you the chance.
Well, I can't answer all your questions without doing a lot of investigation. So.
Okay.
And I can't just rip off a bunch of information off my head and give you
And I understand
misinformation,
that.
and I'm not gonna do that.
I understand that.
What you've done here is, you're on the right track. I mean, you wrote your letter and you're requesting help. Let us work on it. You've got, where you send it other places. You're on the right track.
Okay. Well, all I can say is thank you, and I hope you're not just blowing air at me and words.
Well,
And I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, and I know it's hard.
give me a chance first, and then if you don't like my results, and yeah, go ahead. You have your right to chew me out, but give me.
I ain't gonna chew you out. I'm not coming.
Chance.
I'm not coming back no more. This was the one time. That's why I wrote it, because I didn't want to get it all over, and sometimes I have a tendency to swear. Okay, it's just in my demeanor. Right? It's
I
not
appreciate
personal.
the fact that you didn't tonight.
I'm not coming back again. I'm pushing paper everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere. Even Donald Trump, and see what he will do. You know, because we should not be living this way. I should be able to let my daughter ride her bike in that neighborhood, okay? But no, I have to keep her in the yard because I don't know what's going on. And I'm the one that has to fight out there to stop all this preventing of things going on. And I'm the one that gets stuck by a needle, all right? And I don't even know if I got anything. Everybody better hope I don't, because there'd be a lot of body bags, lots of them, no joke. So, all right, yeah, I'm not gonna come again, so I'm hoping, at least when you think about it, you know, in a timely manner, at least send me a letter or something. You know, my address is there, right there, you know, just to give me the common courtesy and the respect, okay? All right, thank you. Good seeing you again.
Don't shoot me.
I won't.
That was,
You didn't do nothing bad to me.
thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, that brings us up to individual issues. Start with you, Chuck.
I don't know, Steve wanted to get some of our time interpretation. I don't know if he's still here. No, he's with somebody there. They're meeting. I think the planning board's still in there with him. I see Andy in there and stuff. So we'll have to try to do that. He's just trying to, the way the lot size ordinance 2017 is worded with the roads and frontage needs to meet subdivision guidelines. He's just like us to agree or disagree with him on how he's interpreting that.
So fair question.
He had asked me and I said I thought the proper thing to do would be to bring that to the board.
Yeah.
It covers him to a certain degree.
Right.
So it's not just his interpretation, that we either agree with his interpretation or we disagree with his interpretation, and
Right.
at least that way he understands how he should be interpreting that 2017. So that was that. So that's, we can hopefully maybe next week is the Tri-Town meeting, so I don't know, it's gonna have to be
They
short.
come up so fast.
It's gonna have to be short, so. Do we wanna do, is those letters, the 30-day thing, is that on your list?
Yes.
Okay, then I won't go there.
Yep. But actually you can, if you want, go ahead and do it. Because you're more familiar with it than I am.
Well, it's, so we did foreclosures, what, Monday? Monday, was that the right date? We did those?
Did she bring that?
Yes, 25th, yes, yes.
So, in the past, and I haven't been here for very long, so it was 1 year, right?
Oh, are you ready?
Oh,
Is that locked?
I saw it, did you right there? Yeah. I just looked, I saw Andy in the office, I thought you were.
Well, they're talking about something that I don't need to be there for.
Sure.
Yeah, come on.
I prepped them on why you were gonna come in here, so they're already.
So this is currently your lot size ordinance, which discusses road frontage. So we can all follow along. So somebody came to me today, they have a large parcel, 30 plus acres. They wanna cut a 2-acre lot out of it. And this parcel is on an existing road. So he came to me and said he was told that the road would have to be widened and improved to do this. So I took out this ordinance you have, and it says, any lot or parcel of land that will be used as a building lot shall be 2 full acres and have street frontage of not less than 200 feet. Street frontage may only be met if it is located along a street that meets the street design and construction standards set forth in 12.2B of the subdivision guide.
That's not here though, is it? The subdivision, I thought you had another piece that,
That's not here, no.
no, but don't you usually give that to people and make a copy of that?
I do, but that's not really relevant right now.
Okay,
What is relevant is this man wants to cut a new lot out, and this says a lot will be 2 acres with 200 feet of road frontage, and the road frontage will meet this subdivision guidelines.
And is that road a private road?
Currently,
Yeah.
probably Upper Dolby Road or something like that.
Dolby?
Is it Dolby or Upper Dolby, which is called Hillside or something like that? I think you should see on the tax map.
Hillside is the wood lot.
Dolby Road. Right here, right? That's Newbridge Road, so he's right there.
Hillside Drive.
Okay,
Hillside, okay.
so that's off what road? Is it off Dolby?
No, it's off Newbridge Road, right down by the.
It's split,
So
Dolby
it's a
goes west.
private road,
Okay, it's private road.
yeah.
So it doesn't have to be paved, because that's the part here that says,
So Hillside Drive goes along this 35-acre lot, and it continues and goes to more houses further down. But he wants to cut a 2-acre lot out of this 35-acre lot. Does he need to bring it up to this subdivision standard, or is that gonna be considered grandfathered? And if it is considered getting grandfathered, why? Because I don't see anywhere where it is written.
Well, I don't know why you're looking at me, but, if there's already houses there, so okay, the 35 acres is before the other houses?
Houses beyond it, yeah.
Yeah, so when that,
Common sense would say, to me, common sense says this is a grandfathered road and it constitutes road frontage for this new lot. But that's not written anywhere. And the problem I'm gonna have is, where do I draw this line?
I agree.
Because there's been another issue where somebody came in and they had a 50-foot wide right-of-way on paper that was in existence. And they wanted to cut a lot on it and call it road frontage, but if you go out there, it looks like hell. If you go out to Hillside Drive, it's probably only 15 feet wide, not the 20 required. So at what point do you draw the line and say, well, this is okay for you, but it's not okay for you?
Well, no, I agree. So the 20, how far does it have to be now before this happened or whatever?
This is in existence.
Well, not until 2017, so how long's that road been there?
Oh, plenty long. I imagine a long time. I don't know. I'm new too, but I imagine it's been there quite a while. The houses are all in existence now.
but the lot is a new lot.
That's the thing. Now he's cutting a new lot.
So that's a brand new lot.
Okay, but,
It's not like it's existing frontage that's used for that lot that now.
right, but what I'm asking is how big, or didn't it matter, did the road have to be before this 2017 thing? That's what I guess,
I don't think it had to be anything. I think.
well, it had to be something, I think.
Since 1983, it was supposed to be paved, but nobody did that
Well, I
either.
know, but doesn't there say in that it's supposed to be so wide?
The new guideline.
Before
For
2017.
private roads? I don't think private roads had that requirement.
Yeah, if it wasn't in a subdivision, there was no requirement. There was no requirement.
Oh, that's what I'm asking.
There is an ordinance on the books that said all roads, including, it is all roads in town.
But it did say how wide they had to be.
No,
That was public, there's a public road that went from 60 to 50 feet.
Oh, I thought it was all
That
roads,
was,
but it
but
wasn't.
there's another one
even then, that was only what would be on paper, not necessarily construction
And
standards.
that's not really traveled with, it's more the right of way. And then there's one that says that all roads shall be paved.
Right, which is
Now, that was really
ridiculous.
meant for subdivision, but that's not what it says.
I know, I understand that.
So I mean, the way you can interpret this is that this is a new lot, so that 200 feet in front of, or 200 feet of that road needs to be brought up to that standard. Which is asinine,
I agree.
okay?
Technically, you could say, let's say the parent lot's 35 acres and he wants to cut 2 acres out of it. Technically, you have 2 new lots here. You have a 33-acre lot, which is new, and a 2-acre lot, which is new.
True too, yeah.
So these are new lots, and according to this, a new lot, if you wanna meet the road frontage standards, has to be brought to that standard.
The subdivision standard?
Yeah, whatever this says.
Yeah, well,
Well, although the 33 already has a building on it, correct?
I don't think it does. But I don't know how that's relevant. It's still a new
Well,
lot.
because it says any lot or land that will be used as a building lot. So will the 33 be used as a building lot?
Oh, so you're saying you don't have to bring it to that standard if you don't intend to build on it? Which I never had that argument before.
But I'm just saying, it will be used as a building lot. That's what it says.
Okay,
So if the 33 is gonna stay as raw land, then it's not gonna be used as a building lot at this time.
okay. What about the 2-acre lot?
The
that
2
guy
acre,
wants
if he's
to build
trying to
on?
split, obviously, probably 2 acre, probably put a building
They
lot.
want, he said he wanted to build.
That kind of falls under that part.
It does, yeah. So then he wanted to be a building lot, so do they have to bring the 200 feet up to this standard?
you're not asking my opinion.
Well, that's why I mean.
Well, we're asking for how to
I'm not
interpret
confident throwing around my own opinion.
Well,
feel like
my
it.
opinion might be different than what this says, I'm just saying.
No, how should he interpret this?
I don't
mean,
know,
it's-
because
it's-
this whole thing is a big
Get it?
mess, and I don't think it's gonna get cleared up, and that's only gonna make it worse.
I know, well, this is what we have, this is what we're charged to work with. There's not a lot of options.
And this is what the people voted on. Whether they should have,
It doesn't matter. You're right. I mean, anything he enforces is what the people voted on, which people seem to forget. But,
Right, but this is what exists, this is what I have to deal with, and I need some guidance.
well, I don't think we should give you the guidance.
So who's going to?
I don't know, I'm just, and I don't think we can fix it because it's probably not gonna happen. That's not gonna work. I wish we could at least fix this part because, we got there yet, I guess. Do I think, personally, I'm not gonna say what I think.
So what's the road that's there now?
It's 50 feet wide on paper.
But it is,
The right of way.
The right of way is 50 feet
And
wide.
is
The road
He
itself.
believes it. The road itself does not meet that standard. And the applicant doesn't believe that he could bring it to that standard, or not, couldn't afford to bring it to that standard. I guess there's some mature trees there where there should be a 3-foot shoulder compared per that.
but, okay, but back to this and just deal with me, cause I won't understand what. So, but this road was there before this,
probably.
Yes.
okay. So now, just because he wants to cut it out, are we gonna make him?
I understand, I know what you're saying. This is the quandary.
It's a quandary
But
already.
the problem, what happens is, and I can feel your pain, Laura, I really can. But what happens is that if we don't go by what's written here,
Oh, I agree with you.
then we're picking and choosing.
I agree, I'm not saying
We're gonna get
that.
accused of that, or he'll get accused of that
I totally agree.
the
with
next
you.
time when.
Totally.
And that's what, obviously we were trying to fix all this.
Well, we can't, and.
But, this is what we're dealing with, so.
But does anyone think that if the road was there first, how can we make him, I mean, we've gone through this conversation and,
Well, if
I have a
if
different
it's-
opinion, but that doesn't
But if the right of way is there on paper, does that mean that the road's there? I mean,
I don't know.
where do you draw that line, right? I mean, somebody say, I got a right of way on paper, right here, it's all deeded out. So is that grandfather?
Well, if we didn't
I
have
mean,
any
there could be all
standard,
trees there right now, but is that grandfather? There's actually no existing road, but it was all mapped out.
what do you mean, because he wrote it on a piece of paper?
No, if I have a project that I'm gonna do and I get it surveyed and all mapped out, but I haven't done anything with it yet. But the right
There
of
are
way is.
instances in town where people have presented me a surveyed plan that was done maybe 15 years ago.
Right,
And on the plan and in deed descriptions, there's a 50-foot wide right-of-way that goes into this piece of property. And now they wanna cut a lot off and use that as road frontage. Now, if you go out there and look at it, you can't even tell. But it exists on paper as a road, as a 50-foot wide right-of-way. In this particular instance, you can go out there and see it. But I mean, where's
the
nowhere in
grandfather?
here, nowhere in here does it say
Well-
something either my grandfather, or where do I draw that line?
okay, so what about a survey? How long is a survey good for? Probably forever, right?
Yeah, survey doesn't
So
expire.
if they surveyed a right of way, can we, even though they didn't do it, does that still make it?
This is why I'm here. I don't see anything, any verbiage for me to follow.
Don't have any.
And I need to know how to proceed.
You probably shouldn't ask us.
Who do you suggest I ask?
No, just somebody else.
One of those things that would have been in the land use.
Well, let's not,
No, but I mean, it's,
I agree.
it was addressed there, so.
We can't go
So
there.
it's a portion that needs to be
I would,
addressed.
yeah, I would like to see us fix this at least, but I don't even know if that'll fly, so I don't, I don't know.
I apologize for having to put you on the spot, but
No.
this is what I have to deal with, and I have people expecting me to call them back and give them an answer.
I totally understand, and
And
it's
I'd like
not
to
your
think-
fault.
And I'd like to be consistent, so.
Well, I think you should be consistent. It's just what is consistent. No.
Trying to find the drawing that Lyle gave me the other day, because it goes right along, we just talked about, show a piece of land with 50-foot right of way up through the center of it, no road yet. Just so you could have seen, but.
And somebody has a survey versus somebody that just has a sketch that they did. There's nothing in here that says, but a survey counts, but a sketch doesn't
Oh,
count.
I agree, I totally,
That's the,
I agree.
right, I mean,
I think I'd have a much stronger case to go one way or the other if it was already a deeded description, or not, just a sketch.
Yeah.
But a better scenario is they're both deeded descriptions, one's somewhat improved and one isn't.
so is there a thought that if it's already improved, then it's grandfathered, and if it's not improved, it's not
I
grandfathered?
don't know,
To what point?
yeah.
Everybody's got,
So I
they're all
have a
different
bicycle, I have a
levels.
bicycle path, so that's improved?
I don't know.
But people don't care
I don't know
if
how
it's
you,
a bicycle path.
I know. I know.
I mean, we might care, but, and I won't say nobody cares, but I don't know.
well, I'm guessing the reason they put the third portion of that paragraph A in there is so that they had something to go by. And I don't know how you can ignore that now
I mean, you're creating brand new frontage.
for 200 feet.
And it says straight frontage may only be met if it's located along a street that meets that design. May only be
You're
met.
creating a new lot.
Well, whether you're creating a new lot or whether you're still creating new street frontage, because that lot has to have street frontage, so you're creating that new street frontage.
But I thought it already had a street.
But it says, yeah, it does.
But you're creating a
it
new
must
lot.
meet these requirements. It says street frontage may only be met if it's located that meets the standards in subdivision. It doesn't say, you know, new streets or new frontage after the date of this, you know, must meet. It says, there's no date to talk about grandfathering anything.
Okay, but you can't make them do it before this.
No, it knows if that lot already had the frontage before this, then that frontage is fine. They don't have to improve that, like everybody else doesn't have to.
And it didn't have it before.
So if somebody if somebody applied for a building permit on that 35 acre lot, I would issue a building permit and say that's a grandfathered lot of record that you can build on.
Right.
Because that lot already had the
The
frontage.
case, the issue I'm presented
So
with
they're
now is
cutting 2 acres
they're
out.
creating a new lot.
They're not just putting something on that lot. They're cutting 2 acres out of
Correct.
that lot.
That's
And that's
correct.
the problem.
So now they're creating a new lot, and this says lots will be, a building lot is gonna be 2 acres with 200 feet of road frontage that meets this standard.
In the subdivision regulations.
Yeah.
Which says,
50-foot right of way, probably travel width, gravel depth, blah, blah, blah.
I know we went through this, didn't we?
Yep.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah. Which we were trying to change. And that didn't happen. I think we should try to change it. Even that section. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I know, I understand, I know, but I don't know.
But by
Help him
this,
right now.
you have to go by this because that's what's in place. Right.
That's how I'm reading it. You know,
I
whether or
mean, is
not.
that how you read it? Yes, I'd love a glass of
want
water. Yes.
Want water?
No, thank you. I might try to drown myself.
But you know what I mean? So, I mean.
Lynn, do you want water?
No, thank you. She brings her own.
I do.
She's smart.
What I see, I hate to say it, but that's the requirement.
Yeah.
He's gotta deny it. Goes to appeals.
Here you go, ma'am, don't spill it.
I won't, thank you. So he's gonna deny what, the building permit?
This is not a legal lot to build on, not a building lot.
And it's gonna go to the appeals board.
I guess that's their only course of relief.
I don't know how else to do it.
What's that?
And it
Follow
would
what
go
the,
to the appeals board.
follow what the ordinance says. He denies it based on that criteria, which is here. Then you gotta follow the rest of the ordinance all the way through. Section 7, it says if he denies it, it goes to appeals.
Section 7.
7C.
Okay, but is it an administrative appeal, or is it
Then, that'd be up to the applicant to decide.
or is it a variance appeal, right?
Well, it's not administrative, he's just following the document, it's not a.
Well, they certainly have the right to apply for an administrative appeal.
It could be
if they think
administrative, because it's saying that
wrong.
he's interpreting it incorrectly.
And then it would be up to the ZBA to decide if I interpret it correctly or not. However, after tonight,
Works for me.
I'm gonna say the selectmen interpreted it, not I.
No, you're right, you're right. I can't see how we can ignore it, and there is no escape
Well,
clause.
that's the thing, I can't.
Well, I mean, it's whether we like it or not,
I
It's
agree.
it.
which is why we didn't like it, which is why we were trying to change it.
I still think
Because
we
it's-
should.
Because it's asinine, the way it's written, I'm sorry, but it is,
But,
we have to live with this for right now.
But legal approved this, according to this statement here. Just, I'm not kidding, it says.
Yeah,
that.
no, I don't know what legal, but yeah, I hear you.
It doesn't matter. Anyway,
but that would be to me, that's the only legal way out.
Well, in other words, if that's what they wanted when they did it, and I don't know if anybody realized what this meant, but I suppose legally it's fine.
Well, it's true.
It's asinine, but legally it's fine. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of stupid laws out there, I mean, so,
okay,
But we're not gonna be able to prove that this needs to be improved unless we run into a situation such as this, and say, it doesn't work.
right, I mean, I don't see. So do you have guidance on how to interpret, so if you say no on this, do you have guidance from us on how to interpret going forward as well? Do you have enough guidance from us for that?
I believe,
Well, you gotta stick to
the
this, right?
opinion is, any new lot
broken off, yeah,
is gonna have to meet these road requirements. Is that correct?
The part that bothers me,
That's how it's written.
the part that bothers me, if it's a public way, it might not meet subdivision requirements.
Would that be interesting?
It will be, because I'm thinking of a couple of dirt roads right now that are public town roads.
Well, then they'd have to petition the town to bring it to the standard.
No, provided that private,
All it says is it doesn't have to be
Right.
paved. It still have to be the certain width and gravel depths. Those are the two big tickets.
and this says subdivision is purpose of street, subdivision guide, public and private ways. Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting? You're right, though.
well, yeah, they just don't have to be paved, but they still have to have the same,
I'm thinking about, Upper Middle Road.
yeah.
It's not very narrow down through I wouldn't.
Is he gonna do this right away?
Mhm.
Oh.
That's where I'm at.
So you agree with his interpretation?
I don't think he has any other choice.
Okay. I agree.
I don't see we
Do you
got
guys
any way around
want,
it.
do you wanna take a motion on that to make it more official, or do you just wanna? I mean, it's on video as well, but I mean, I'm just.
I would appreciate a motion and a vote.
You want it in writing too?
You'll have it that way, it'll be in the minutes.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we follow the lot size ordinance 2017 as written.
And that any new lot needs that 200-foot frontage has to be in accordance with the subdivision guidelines per the ordinance.
As written.
Yep. I'll second
All in favor?
This has to be changed. We have, well, that's another conversation. Okay, sorry.
Well, this one's working. Definitely one's working.
Thank you for your time.
Just let them know that they do have appeals process.
Right.
They do have that option.
Yep.
And when you give this to them, can you give them that page that says what the, okay,
I do.
thank you.
Yeah, all right. Okay, all set? Yeah. Thank you. Good night.
You did say that was challenging.
Huh?
You did say that was challenging. Did you get the letters from her before you make your motion?
Did you go to get Stacy and get the lettuce?
No, was I supposed to?
I thought that's where you went. Oh, when you
I
went and
got-
got
I
the
got
water,
water.
the water's
I got
leaking.
water. I know, the cup's leaking, I can't help it.
Shoddy equipment.
Town can't even afford good people cups.
Bring your own cup. Bring your own. They're on Lynn's desk. Did you know that, Lynn?
He's gonna lay him down in the water.
Don't put him on the water.
Nope, I'm gonna give him to the chairman. And I'm gonna get it now.
Yeah, I just think that's better, you know what I mean, so they can see the, you know, without the amounts there, I want them to see their amounts so they
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
So in the past, I don't know where we left off, in the past, basically meaning one time, we gave people approximately 30 days to essentially buy back their property after it's been foreclosed. So we foreclosed by operation of law at the close of business on Monday.
Right.
So that's just the way the state law is, it happens automatically. So there was, I think, 10 foreclosures. And so now we own them, plain and simple. But normally we're not in the business of taking people's properties, we don't like to do that. So in the past, the boards have done it, I think, a variety of ways, but one of the more common ways, I guess, has been to give them approximately 30 days to essentially buy it back if they pay all outstanding taxes. So the year that was foreclosed on was 2016. So they have to pay 16, they have to pay 17, and they have to pay 18, as well as any interest and fines or fees that are associated with the lien process. So that's what we've done in the past. The key is that one of the key dates is April 1st. So for record keeping and stuff, we want to get things done before April 1st because April 1st is the assessing date. So that's when it's the owner of record on April 1st is who gets assessed the taxes. And so if they're going to buy it back, we want that to happen before April 1st. So that they're the owner of record, not Town of Lebanon. This makes accounting a little bit easier. So I think those letters, so I guess, do we want to do that again this year? I think it makes sense to do that again this year. So I think we've done letters for March 29th as of 4 p.m. to be the date that they have to pay. These can go out tomorrow. I guess the only question is do we send these out certified? Some people don't pick up their certified. And there's a cost for certified, where this is a courtesy. None of this is mandated by state law or mandated by anything that we need to do this.
Well, I would do certified, and I would also do it snail mail too.
So do it both?
I would, I mean, just because it's, you know.
I feel more comfortable with that.
That's fine.
Yeah, but.
It is a cost, but I think it's worth.
Yeah,
Do those costs get rolled into that number, do you know?
No.
No, okay. I think it's not that much though, right, certified, I mean, a couple bucks, $6?
Yeah, 630 or 6 something, yeah. So,
$70.
yeah, so,
But we're getting 3 years of tax revenues back, so I suppose that's a good side of that, so.
hopefully, yeah. So, I think certified and snail mail, so, you know.
All right, so then I guess I make a motion that we give the people who we just foreclosed on an opportunity to buy back their properties for all back taxes and fees and interest. If they pay between now and March 29th at 4 p.m., which is our time of closing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Sign again. I'll let you work on some.
Oh, sure.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
shouldn't stick one thing, like I gave everything to Stacy in the middle of this, but I'm not really looking. Slipping in the middle of the pile.
US mail and certified.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Night.
That's it. Yeah, we want you to do certified and snail mail, so just make a copy of it and,
Yeah, I was gonna make a copy.
These are all
yeah,
done.
yeah, but just, you know,
All of them?
No, no more.
just for the sake of trying both ways. Now? We done? We think it's done, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Update on Maple Estates.
Yes. Didn't we get something from the lawyer?
So I forwarded you guys something from the lawyer, so
Okay.
where we stand right now is, that email was a discussion they had with me. Essentially, they feel that, we've given him enough time. And we can go ahead and use escrow, and the process would be to basically get a couple of bids for the engineer, figure out what we need to get done, so we can itemize what the expenses are gonna do, and to send that to Mr. Wiswell, and then go ahead and proceed and get the road completed. But, this is the key but, before we start that process, they need to make sure that we're clear to use the funds, because Mr. Wiswell, as far as we know, has filed for bankruptcy. And so therefore, those funds could indeed be tied up in the bankruptcy. So again, some of these assets are supposed to be basically seized by the bankruptcy court to be divulged, to be distributed among the creditors. And so we can't bypass that, the town can't be complicit and bypass that and use those funds, whatever, because those may not be our funds to be able to use. They may not even be his funds to be able to use. So they are checking, the attorneys are checking with their bankruptcy people, just to make sure that, in other words, that we can use those funds, that they're not somehow in jeopardy with the bankruptcy. So that's where we're at right this second, is we are waiting for an answer back from them as to whether or not the funds are available.
So we're not moving till you get an answer.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
So my question is,
If they say we can't touch it, then that's a whole separate discussion. My guess is then we don't have any money to do that, which means that the town's not gonna get the road completed, and the residents can do that with their own money. Because again, we still have to meet the requirements.
Right.
If the money is available, if we can touch it, then, we just got an email from Mr. Wiswell about an engineer. Why not reach out to that engineer to get a bid, to get a quote, to do what needs to be done? We probably ought to get a bid from another engineer, just to make sure we're not, because again, you still have to spend the escrow wisely, prudently, you can't just. The signs, we probably can have our guys do that, so they would buy the signs through there, we just have to keep track of any labor that they use to install the signs.
so, yeah, what I want to know is, so we need the engineer to sign off on the road,
So we need to sign off on the road.
on the
correct.
top coat.
On the top coat.
Because we
So
have
he's got-
something from
I think
the
he
other.
has something about the material that was used, but again, I think it's a matter of depth. We don't know, I mean, it could be 1 inch, it could be 2 inches, it could be.
Yeah.
We don't know, so I mean, it's a specification that they
Okay,
need to sign
and
off
then
on.
it's the signs,
We have the turnaround, the turnaround signs, fire lanes that need to be signage.
and what about what we put
The
in
street lights.
street? What we doing?
We have one on Merchants Row, and then we have the other one down at the other intersection. And quite frankly, if we go to LEDs, then we may just find out, you know, what that cost is. It doesn't make sense to have CMP put in street lights to then be replaced by LED lights.
And what about blocking that hammerhead or whatever we
I
have to
think that
do?
might have been done, but that may need to be addressed as well,
Okay,
the end of that, but that goes into the pit.
okay,
That was all sent in that letter that
Right. Yep,
okay.
yep.
the planning board
So
sent.
it's not a lot, I mean, you know, and the thing is that if we're in control of that, while the ground's frozen, we may not get some of those signs in, if we're in control of the funds and we know what can get done, then it may give us a comfort level to at least put it on the referendum.
Well, yeah, because we're the
Because
ones that we would have. to
Because
do.
again, April 1st is after the referendum date, but we still have 2 more months before before the vote, and the ground will be thawed out by then, to be able to get that stuff done.
Well, no, I agree with that.
Cause we have plenty of money to get it done,
Right,
and if we're in control,
Maybe.
well, unless something's wrong with the top coat, but I gotta believe.
No, I was thinking the
Yeah.
other.
Oh, right, unless we don't have the money, right.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where we are at Maple Estates.
but you said he has an engineer?
He emailed us to, supposedly he wanted us to send this new engineer information on what we need, even though we told him exactly what we need.
Well, I mean,
It's-
it's
it
his
keeps-
job to hire the engineer to give us the report, so he
But-
can just do that.
Right.
He doesn't need us to do that.
No,
He
right.
knows what needs to be
Yeah,
done.
I know. He's-
So-
It's just a matter of continuing to play dumb,
Okay, well, yeah,
so. We had a timeline, was this, you did this, or did somebody do this timeline, or?
I didn't do it.
Mary Beth did a June election
Yeah.
timeline?
Yeah, Christine had her do that.
yeah.
So, I just thought we might wanna put referendum mailing in there somewhere, where we wanna get that referendum mailing to, on what date. As well as maybe the annual report, even though it's showing June 8th, I think we wanna get it done way before June 8th.
Well, that's the law.
Right, but I'm just thinking, we gotta
Absolutely.
have, my thinking is we
Well,
gotta have a
if
target
we
date for
can
it.
get all the stuff, that's usually the problem, getting all the stuff
Yeah,
together.
so, that was all I had about that. One of the bids I think we need to be, it's always hard because you're in the winter and you don't think about it, but we need to do the mowing bid, I think
Oh,
soon.
that was on my list.
Sorry.
That's
good.
okay.
I'm glad you guys are thinking.
Yeah,
It's just, you forget about those until they all of a sudden pop up on you.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, because we need to tweak the one. And then I had another thought,
paving bid, we can wait until we figure out what we're gonna do for a budget. But
Yeah.
we can try to,
but we
you
can
know.
still. My thought was on the mowing bid. Now I'm just thinking out loud. Every time I think out loud, it gets us in trouble.
I know, I hear you.
but you
You and me
know,
both.
let's just continue that process. Would it be, and I think we've talked about this, would it be better if we just had, as far as the town mowing stuff, this is what I'm saying. If we purchased like, and I think we've talked about this, like a mower and a weed whacker, and we obviously probably have to get a trailer to go behind the, would it be the one ton, but would it be feasible to have our worker do that? I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying, would it save money? Do you remember how much we paid in mowing last year?
I don't.
I didn't know if, it would be feasible,
I
I
think
don't
we
know.
thought about that, but I mean, again, it's,
I mean, I don't know, it's just a thought.
you still have upkeep of the equipment, you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
Still, the zero turn mowers aren't cheap.
No,
Yeah, if you just get a little John Deere.
well, no, we
that'll
can't
take
do
you
that,
forever.
we
I
can't
mean,
do that, no. I was just thinking about that, and I think we talked about that to,
I think right now we really only have a part-time laborer. And right now, if we're gonna start doing some major road work, my guess is he may be doing more with that.
oh, it's just a
so I
thought, I
don't-
just
I don't
was
know.
thinking, would it be cheaper or more cost effective, I don't know.
At some point, it probably does. I don't know what level of mowing that you need to do to make it worth your while. I don't know.
I don't know, I couldn't remember what we paid in mowing last year, or what we paid out, we probably have it here somewhere, but, I was just thinking about
I mean,
that.
a lot of the town stuff is pretty, the biggest thing for the town is the ball field that we mow, that's the guess. That's the biggest, because, I mean, we do with the town hall, but there's not a lot here. You know, like the dump, they only did maybe once, sorry, Paul, transfers, not you, Paul, the other Paul.
Transfer station,
Cemeteries.
that's a different bid, yeah, cemeteries is a different bid.
Right.
But it was just a thought that, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're there yet. I don't disagree with the thought, but I don't know.
We have those bids from last year, cause I know we had to tweak it, we might have.
Yeah, I'm sure I have them somewhere,
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking it's, I like to have deadlines, I like to have due dates, so I know what date I'm working towards, so. I'm just thinking that we ought to have a date that we wanna get the mowing bids out for. so that we have rather than just, we talk about it and then a month later, hey, we gotta get the bids out.
No, but,
Well, you gotta get them out, but the other part is you gotta be able to show the areas for the people that are bidding if they haven't bid before. Right now, you can't do that.
well, they could look at it, it's just got snow on it.
Yeah, I mean-
Cemetery one.
Well, yeah, that's,
Yep. That's if they haven't bid before, right? I mean, a lot of them,
Right.
have bid before, so they know the areas. Because you have to get it, but you have to put it out and then get it back in time for the spring, which is before Memorial Day, because you want them to do that spring cleanup.
Right, so I'm thinking.
yeah, and then, yeah,
March 31st is probably your,
So, again, this was, I wanted to bring it up while it was on my mind.
yeah. And then if you make an electronic memory, you remind us for next year.
We're sending them out on March 31st, right? And they'll have a certain time to get them back.
Yeah, but start the process at the beginning of March.
That's tomorrow,
Yeah, so, just to remind me next year.
next year,
March.
get that calendar going.
That gives us just a little time to prepare things.
I think that's it, I got a couple items for executive session, but that's it, more or less. So what's on your list, Laura? You got a huge list.
Well, no, I mean, some of it's really, I had, and I think I had emailed Lynn, we had talked about, volunteer needs form, remember? We talked about that, and I think you asked planning board, did you ask anybody else?
I did appeals board, planning board,
Just
conservation
boards that
committee.
needed, like, volunteers and stuff that.
Even asked the cemetery committee.
Yeah. Just to, so we can maybe start putting that out there and continue to say, maybe monthly, well, I don't know, just something to keep going out there that we need people to serve on these committees.
Yep.
Did you put that in the newsletter too?
I don't know,
Yeah, we can put it in.
we can do
newsletter.
that, but like on the web and stuff and just,
But I just have things, she's asking for things for a newsletter. Yeah.
Yes. LD1, do we have to do that worksheet? I know, I'm a broken record. Should we look at that to make sure we're not gonna go over that, or, I know you did it last year and you said we didn't. But you do one for every year,
Supposed to, right?
yeah?
I'm not sure how many towns do, but, yeah.
I mean, I think it's on MMA to, whatever you fill it out and it kinda tells you, just so,
Yeah,
because,
but a lot of you need property tax stuff. What becomes tough is because a lot of times we don't have that information until we do assessments.
well, because we kinda have a lot of spending going up on things, so that is a factor, so.
I think some towns put something on there to exceed it, to
Well,
allow, so they don't get into that, because what happens is
Yeah.
that you have to do your assessment numbers, you have to have evaluations before you can figure out what it is. But if that's not until after you're already going to the referendums, then now you have no opportunity to change it. So I think a lot of the ones, especially if it's this one, we probably would go over that number. I don't think the growth has been that high. So we probably ought to look at, just to be safe, for permission to exceed. That limit, which you have to, I believe the law is that you have to expressly ask for permission, get voters to approve to exceed that number.
and if they don't, then we have to figure out what we're gonna, I mean, afterwards, then you have to go back and decide what you're gonna.
Right,
Cut.
especially if things get voted on.
So-
If they say no on that, but then they approve the spending,
Then we have to
then you have
cut,
to, then
we
you
have to cut,
But I'm not sure, is that the town has to cut, or is that the town has to approve, or do we cut?
well, who's gonna cut it?
Wonder whose authorization is it?
I believe we would have to, cause they said no.
Well,
and then if we go
I
over-
don't understand how to, because the town says that you're authorized to spend X. Then we just don't spend it, is that? Because they also said we couldn't exceed?
right?
Are you familiar with what we're talking about at all?
No.
It's on MMA, it's the
So
LD1 worksheet,
there's an
that
LD1 that's been in place for
long time,
probably 10 years.
at least.
That is a worksheet that basically goes by growth rate of the state, growth rate of the town, and stuff, so that your spending cannot exceed a certain percentage of growth or in that's what it's related to. And so, there was a law, and so we're not supposed to exceed that unless the voters approve that. So you can exceed it, but the voters have to approve
They
that.
have to okay that.
So,
So that's why,
obviously, if your budgets aren't that much more than the previous budget, then you're pretty safe, but
the highway this year would
this
make a
one,
difference.
Yeah.
might very well put us over. I don't think we've had that much growth. So in other words, if our budgets went up by 15%, and our growth rate is only at 5%, then I don't know what the exact numbers are, but that's where.
It's a form and you have to fill it out.
And that's where you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, a lot of times I think you have to wait for your assessment values and all that stuff before you can calculate it all out.
Which you don't get until summer.
Well, April 1st is the assessment date, and so then, but they're not normally ready by then, they're still doing stuff because you don't do your commitment until the summer. That's when you actually know your numbers, is when they do the commitment.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
So that's the problem, is that it doesn't line up, So, in this case, I think if you know you're probably gonna exceed, I think the safer thing to do is to ask for permission to exceed.
But they might wanna know how much you're gonna exceed.
That's what I was afraid, and so I was like,
Yeah, they may, I'm not sure you can give them that number, I mean, the bottom line is if you're voting where, you can tell them you're gonna go up by X percentage. So that's what, if everything passes, it goes up by X percent. But you don't know how much you're gonna exceed, it all depends on what they vote for. You might not exceed if they don't. So.
Anyway,
Yep.
good question.
the credit card thing, we've gotta do something on the credit card thing.
We're not done with that yet?
No,
Oh, I thought we signed off on it.
no, cause I had to ask about,
Oh, did you have to change something or whatever?
no, yeah, this is the one, I think this is the right one, I have to go and get it, but, yeah. Cause their credit card doesn't work. Their swiper, I mean, they have to initially put everything in, so, I'll just get the other pages here. I asked Paul's question. Okay. Let me just find it. Cause he wanted to know about section, it's right here, current process.
Right, there was like a blank there or something, right?
Well, it says, inform me understands the new current payment process to include the following general steps. Customer notified of the fee, which you have to tell them it's 2.5%, and if they wanna know exactly what it is, you tell them. Customer visits the town to make payment or send payments by mail, that doesn't happen, that's, what did she say? She said, I believe she said it was for all new customers. That's why that was in there. I said, one of the questions was about page 4, item 2.3, current process. It is just supposed to summarize what happens in towns that are new to processing credit cards, which we're not new, we're just new with them. So that's what she said. an individual from the town collects the payment from the customer, manual enters details of the payment into the financial tracking software, which is Inform Me, if you had to do that. And what they would do with us is, you know, we already have rapid renewal, so they already deposit money in our account, so that's how this would work too, or it goes to the bank statement or something. But anyway, that's what she said, so I don't know if there are more questions, but that's what she said to me. I'm like, okay. So.
Works for me.
So that, and this is, I think this, you guys have this payment too, which is,
So I make a motion, we enter a contract with Inform Me
yeah, for the credit card,
for the credit card.
yep. Because we already use them for rapid renewal for boats and motor vehicles and dogs. We do dogs on the line too, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Second. All in favor?
So somebody has to sign this.
The old chair. The old chair.
It doesn't matter.
He called you old.
Town 11.
You heard that too? Yeah.
And we have to do both, so I don't know who wants to sign them. Okay.
That's how easy he pushes that out.
To the new chair, the new young
The
chair.
young chair.
And I think they had been talking to Trio, because remember, we have to purchase that part too, which we already okayed that.
Yep.
It's 2.5% instead of 2.9, so that's
Yeah, that's
cheaper. So if tomorrow you can just, get that to D.
Okay.
Whether you can email it, you can just scan it and email it. And obviously, as soon as he, yeah, D. She's the, she's our municipal facility. Deidre. And just tell her you're doing it for me.
I think I sent her something before, with questions.
Yeah. Okay, so that's this part.
We're gonna go take a leak up right now.
And he signs the other part. So then they'll probably call us, they'll sign it too, and hopefully give us back one.
Okay.
And they'll probably contact, because they've been in contact with Trio about it anyway.
Okay.
She had said that to me.
People have, yeah.
Yeah, D had. Okay. So that, and then,
We send this back to?
yeah, all of that, the whole ball of wax. You have a scanner.
I do.
And you can get that to scan to anything you want, like to go to email or anything, or?
I can scan it right to my desktop, and then from there, I can
Okay,
just.
because I was just, as he gets back here, but I was questioning whether a fax and a scanner, the only fax we have is out front, correct? And my concern was confidential information.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if, and Chip's probably one to ask, because I certainly don't know, so Stacy, like if she had confidence, she could use your scanner.
Right.
So we necessarily wouldn't have to get her a scanner, but I'm talking about a scanner and a fax for out back here, or can we have another fax line, or don't we have enough lines, do you know? Because of confidential information, I know lots of times she has stuff, and like Stacy could have stuff that's confidential.
Well,
And sometimes you wanna,
do we wanna look at a fax to mail service?
Yeah, if you could say, want to do that, because.
We have fax to mail at my work.
mm-hmm,
And it's just like, you have like an email account that's a fax to mail email account, and you
Is it secured?
usually through fax to mail, so it's.
because, I was just thinking about that, because, sometimes when you send a fax, you don't wanna stand there and wait, so, because it's confidential
Right,
stuff.
because she's got a scanner here, so
Yeah.
so.
I've had that problem because people were faxing back GA stuff,
Yeah,
and it was going out there.
yeah,
You can't
The
really-
thing is that you have a fax to mail account, and so therefore if they fax that number, it will go to your email and you only have access to that, so that's.
So can that be set up for both of them? Or would it just,
It would just be one account
okay,
that they both would have access to.
okay.
Yeah.
Does that,
You would just, I think it's like an Office, it's literally Office 365 type of account. So it's just like we do online, so just like you can hop online to get your account, you can go there, I mean, that's what we have at my work.
okay, cause I
So
just,
I scan a document, I log into fax to mail, and I do the email, and it's to, I think it's like the phone number at faxtomail.com.
just because I know they both deal with confidential stuff that really should be with them only, so that was I was just thinking about that, and I thought, I didn't know if we could do that. I knew she had a
Outfront
scanner.
probably isn't confidential, correct?
No,
Stuff
it's
that's
not.
out there. No, I'm saying that, do they ever deal with
No.
confidential stuff? Probably not,
No,
so.
probably, no, I don't think so.
Right.
But I mean, I was just thinking of GA, and I know she does the HR stuff, and
Yeah,
sometimes.
because always you have to have a separate line, a separate fax line, I think just.
So will you investigate that, or
Yeah, I can.
if that's okay with you?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't wanna overstep my bounds, but I just thought that
Nobody's
maybe,
overstepping it.
well, I know, well,
Probably the team.
yeah, sure.
I need a sticky.
Oh, write that down. Then the other thing I wanted to mention was, I would just like to congratulate, two Lebanon residents who are part of the state wrestling championship, Josh Cody and Sam Martell, and they'll be going, they wrestle for Noble High School, but they, won their state championship.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So Sam Martell and Josh Cody, and they will be going to New England's. I'm not sure if it's this weekend or next weekend, but I just wanted to say congratulations and we wish you good luck.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yes. I know it's terrible. I wrote things everywhere. I had talked to when Jenny was here, obviously, about aging in place, and I don't know a committee or a group. Have you heard talk of that at anything?
I
It's
haven't,
through AARP, and you might have stuff on your computer.
from, okay, I
Aging in
think,
place. It's a thing about, helping seniors and ways to keep them in their homes, and it's a whole big thing by AARP, and a lot of towns have it. And they have like a committee and a group with bylaws, and they meet monthly and, talk about things, and,
is that a committee I could join?
well, actually, you would probably be with them.
Okay,
Usually the GA person kind of like in Elliott, Melissa is part of it. She kind of, they run themselves, anything, but it usually is something that you would be involved in. They
Okay.
usually meet once a month. We'd have to get people involved, but it might be on your computer
Okay.
because I had a whole book and I had, I think I had contacts and everything, and I think Jenny had it.
I'll look
So if you could look for that, and maybe we could work on that
and I
again.
just had a meeting Friday with, home health, so looking for a space to do some, like balance classes, basically just to get people out of their houses, but so they don't have to travel to Sanford, so I gave them the name of a pastor I know,
Mhm.
and then the church up on the hill, that maybe they had room to help them.
Mhm.
So if you guys know of anybody that has a space where maybe they could get some people together for this, they teach balance class with bands and stuff like that.
You don't mean North Lebanon, you mean the guy up here. You want-
This one up here I did,
Congregational.
and also, yeah, the one that right here at the top of center, and also Pastor Butler.
Yes.
That
I
is-
would think that,
Across the street.
yeah, I mean, they have a nice room downstairs, I was thinking of that, is it Mark?
Mark Foster?
Yeah.
Mark Foster?
Yeah, they have a nice, and I'm sure they would be they'd be interested in something, I would think,
As long as there's no money involved, which there isn't,
yeah,
No, and what church is that?
it's not limited.
North Lebanon,
North Lebanon?
Yeah.
Okay.
and he probably can give you the information.
Oh, okay, that would
You
be
know, I
great.
don't remember the phone number.
Oh. But I was just thinking,
Because he has a cell phone, I don't remember.
yeah, but yeah, they have a nice
Oh,
area there,
okay.
but that would be awesome.
Okay.
Aging, blah, 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 blah. I really think we should do something about this. I know, if you'd asked me the other day, I'd say no, but I tried to think about it, and I really think we should try to do something. What it is, I don't know, clarify, maybe use those standards that we changed it to when we had our little workshops, when we started that, from the planning board one down, we had kinda, I just think we should do something about maybe that part and, give it a try, I don't know,
Right, I mean, that's the whole private road thing,
yeah.
which seemed to be a big topic of contention for the group that was here.
One of the questions I have on this particular application is how many houses are down the road already? Because that's gonna affect how wide this road has to be in front of this one.
Oh,
If we use the step plan. Currently, underneath this one, it's one width, but.
Well, and again, as I've said, you get different things that come up before you and you realize, oh, it doesn't apply, or this doesn't really address that. So in this particular example, we talk about it has to be improved from point of origin, but that means it would only improved up to that lot. It would not be improved further down.
Until the next guy does.
Until there's another lot created further down, then that has to get improved. From point of origin, which that first part would already be at that level. Again, people have a real hard time with any requirements for private roads.
I understand that, but they are not gonna want this.
I understand that, but so the alternative to those people is no requirement for private roads. Do we want to go there?
I don't know.
Because you only had
I know.
20 people here, whatever you had the other night. That's not the town.
I totally understand.
And a lot of those had self-interest because they're looking to develop. That doesn't help all the residents that are just on their 2-acre lots living their life. Or the residents that come here that buy a piece of property to find out that their road is actually on somebody else's property and now they're blocked. Now one could say they should have known that if they looked at a deed research and everything else, and we've run into that. People should know some things if they did their homework, but they don't. So yeah,
Well, the other thing is the fire safety health issue. If you had seen the Sanford fire truck come up through last night and make that corner in front of my house, try to go up School Road.
right.
And that's a town road and that's a big truck.
Yep.
I know, I just,
I don't disagree with you.
but a lot of people, I think, don't really care about, I don't know, I think that putting it to subdivision regulations, I think is ridiculous. And I think that's why we started this, to try to make it, at least this part.
That's the part that came up. That's the part that really came into question, and that's where it started the first thing. And in talking with that group of people, that grid for private roads was accepted, more or less. But this particular group, it wasn't. So I don't know.
Or they just all go to the appeals board, I guess, right? Because they have a right to do that, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the appeals, I wasn't throwing the appeals board under the bus, but that's the right they have. But what does the appeals board have to work with?
Well, again, unless somebody challenges it in court, they can more or less do whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's their feeling. Nobody's taking them to court.
If the appeals board is operating correctly, they have no.
No, there's no authority.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but it is the right, the applicant's right to appeal.
And a variance shouldn't be given because it says it wasn't created by the applicant. And obviously splitting a lot is created by the applicant, so they don't make that.
Right.
Well,
So but again, it doesn't necessarily.
Right.
I don't know, I just, the rest of it, I think we should just let someone else do it or whatever. I
hear you.
We've just got too much other stuff to do, and
I guess my question is, how did that get in there? Was it a board action, planning board action?
I have no idea.
petition, you know, I
It
know,
was
I know
not,
you don't.
No,
it wasn't a petition,
One, it wasn't a petition.
no.
I do not believe it was planning board.
So it had to come out from the
I
board.
think it was board / CEO at the time.
And there was only two board members at the time. Yes. When this happened, yes.
Was that in 2017? Who was that?
Royce and Paul.
And so therefore, I don't think it was them. They wouldn't have done this.
Oh, I wouldn't think so, but they had to
It
okay
may
it,
have been recommended by the CEO to them.
or
And
somebody.
they obviously signed off, they made a referendum, but
Well, and it said it went to legal, so somebody had to,
Yeah,
the
I-
authority to
I don't-
okay that,
And again, legally, it's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it legally.
Sure.
It's just,
so,
I mean, legal's gonna say, sure, that's what you wanna do, fine. It's not.
yeah,
So, I mean,
I hear you, I just,
I don't. We could take that road section out of what's in land use and stick it in there and make that an amendment and see if it flies. I mean, that's your call. I mean, I'll support whatever.
no, it's all our,
Well, no, I'm just saying, but I mean, it's,
well, I, you know,
you know my thought, cause I wrote, I put the land use together. I mean, I think we're trying to solve a lot of these problems, but,
well, I know,
but it's a very, because my name seems to be attached to it, it's a contentious issue.
it is,
So,
or we do nothing, I don't.
scrap the whole thing,
that's okay too, I understand.
Well, yeah,
Scrapping's not the option that we put on the table yet.
so.
oh, okay, did I overstepped, we haven't got there yet. Okay, I'm done, that was all my list, so let's go to your list.
I had two easy ones.
Oh,
Before I forgot, because I forgot.
Sorry, you lost your turn.
yeah.
Did I?
Bang, bang.
The garbage, the
Yes, that was
thing,
one of mine I was gonna ask.
I was thinking, what's your thought about doing a non-binding referendum on that? We talked about doing a few of them. I mean, I don't know whether they wanna recycle or not, I don't, how do you make
I
that,
think
how do you
they-
make that decision?
I think they do. I mean, I think no matter what we decide, we're gonna get the business for, but, I just think, I mean, some people, are gonna have a hard time not recycling, I
I
think.
agree.
Because that's the right thing to do, okay, but then you have to look at cost effective and then just throwing everything wherever is, I don't know. Yeah. But,
Do we try to do that option one, which is at least to setting aside a bin for cardboard? Everything else recyclable goes in there except cardboard, and cardboard goes
so
in the
then
bin?
we're doing, so really what we're doing, what we're already doing, except
There's-
cardboard will be separate.
Cardboard by itself is separate.
So then we would still have the one in the front that we're putting everything in, but the cardboard wouldn't go there, and the paper.
So the first one is a regular
Well,
garbage,
yeah,
the second one
I
is,
call the other one.
is your
Yeah.
solid stream except, so your cans, your glass, or you don't have to do glass, but you whatever. And then cardboard is a separate bin.
Well, it used to be. Didn't we used to have cardboard over there and you dump it
Now,
in?
you could put cardboard in there because it's not gonna be refused
In the single stream,
Which we're getting money for.
but it's gonna cost you more.
Yeah,
because basically,
Just to give you an idea,
Which is the current method.
instead of the charge, so cardboard, we get charged $42.52 a ton. Versus regular waste is $102.42 a ton. Versus recycling, which is $141.97 a ton. So we're, so separating that cardboard out, you're saving basically $100 a ton.
okay.
if they do it,
But they don't have to because it's still single stream. So it's not like they're gonna reject it because it has cardboard in it, you're just not gonna get the savings. But you might get some savings. Because the only other option is you don't recycle. Because I do not think we have the space to make it really that separate, where you really can separate out things.
Well, no, we don't. We're not set up. We'd have to redo
I think
some
it's
stuff.
really, I just don't think it's set up to really, because again, to put glass in this place, cardboard's in this
Well,
place.
I know, we'd have to really redo things to do that.
and whether people would really do it. So, but Or we do a non-binding. I just have a real hard time turning off recycling altogether
I do too, I
without,
agree,
without,
I agree.
some sort of a indication from the people.
Mhm.
Even though it's gonna save us, even though it may save us a ton of money.
I agree with that.
It's the added expense that bothers me. And it's a big difference.
Well, the other thing is that, so here's the other thing is that, what if you put it out publicly that if you wanna recycle, you can, but there's no more mandatory recycling, we don't have to, it costs us a lot more money. If you wanna just throw it in regular trash, you can. But at least you're giving an option for people that can recycle. Right now, we don't really, I'm not sure how much we've publicized it. We leave everything the same way it is. But you just make everybody very, very well aware that if you recycle, it's costing us. Then you don't have to. You wanna throw it in regular waste and make it cheaper for us, you can do that. But if you wanna recycle because that's what you wanna do, you can recycle. I don't know, I'm just throwing options out there, I don't know.
Cause
Because if we turn it off, then what do people do if they wanna recycle?
yeah, I hate to do it.
Well, I said, I'm not throwing your idea away there, I'm just picturing in my mind how that was gonna work. I don't see any problems doing it that way.
I mean, people will say, well, why are we paying for somebody else to recycle?
Well,
I get it.
okay, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe you don't do it that way because you're still gonna get that argument, and I still think kind of something about the referendum is if recycling costs you a lot more money, are you still in favor of recycling or something like that, I don't know, or some quantify the number. You know, if recycling is gonna cost you $42 more a ton, or $40 more a ton to recycle, are you still in favor? Or whatever, I don't know. Yes or no? And if people are still in favor of it, well then, there's your answer.
Not much. I'm just thinking about how much more months we gotta go, and we got, about 3-4 months.
Well, and then like you
months.
said, okay, so now everybody stops recycling, then that's putting more money into the other thing, so then that's.
Yeah, I mean, my thinking is they're afraid of a lot of people are gonna do that, but I mean, the possibility, when does that happen?
Oh.
Does that happen in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, or does it never happen?
Mhm.
So, it's no different than.
It's really like a what if, we don't even know.
It's no different than, when's the market gonna come back?
Mhm.
Should we recycle because the market's gonna come back?
Mhm.
It may come back, but when's that gonna be? 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? And so therefore, we have to pay this much higher rate for all that. I mean.
Yeah, I don't believe that's our call. Our call.
Right.
No, I'll go with the non-binding referendum number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I think that, no, I mean, we.
I mean, I hate throwing more stuff on the ballot for people to fill out, but
We
need
need to know,
guidance.
we need to know
I
how
just-
they feel.
this is.
Right.
All of them, so they all have a chance to tell us how they feel, not just a
And they've been
handful.
notified, they've been notified.
Yeah,
So that was the other one. The other one I thought, and I think Paul and I might have had a discussion, but I thought I'd just throw it on the table. Hindsight's 2020. Does it make sense to have some sort of a policy or whatever that if we have a special election, that we send out a postcard to every resident? So the November 1, people should know about November, people should know about June. But if we have an election.
well, we're gonna do a newsletter for June, I hope, we did that last year and I thought.
Which is an announcement as well.
Yeah.
But a special election, maybe we put it in the budget, in the election budget or whatever, for postage. You send out a postcard to every single resident.
Sure.
And just, it's a cost, but it's another form of communication.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's the cost for one postcard. I mean, how many special elections do we have?
Usually none.
Usually
This was
none.
just a weird thing that we
Usually
had
not,
to.
so, but I think that it just helps. So even though we tried our best and we put it out there, we put on reminders on the website, everything else, I think that probably helps cover us.
Well, we did what we legally had to do. I mean,
Yeah.
things were posted,
Oh,
it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah, yeah.
not
Yeah,
unposted.
I get it.
I'm just saying, I just want that clear, they didn't do anything,
No, nobody did anything wrong.
you know,
I mean,
it's,
No, we did several reminders and everything else, and
I
hopefully
mean-
people are,
This isn't a help.
hopefully people are on our email list, so they're getting the emails, but
yeah,
I'm just thinking that for those that may be not online and just another reminder, and you can get bright yellow, bright
yeah, I
pink
definitely do a bright
postcards,
one.
a real ones that kind of stick out.
Yeah.
Remember to vote or something, something simple.
Yeah.
This might help.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget it can't be that much to
I don't
do
know,
a postcard to.
well, it depends, you can do it through I think the same company that
Well, if
does,
you do bulk mailing, just because it goes to
well,
every
the
resident.
guy that did the newsletter, I mean, that didn't cost
Right.
us that much.
Right.
I mean, so I think they do postcards too, they do them a lot of postcards, I think, like for taxes and things like that, but it's the same idea. You just, so no, I don't think that's a bad idea.
I mean, again, probably it's not gonna happen this year, or maybe it's not gonna happen for another 10 years,
but. Yeah.
but I just thought
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm thinking that I'll go out 4 times. Thinking there'll be enough funding in there to mail that out 4 times.
Why 4 times?
Because I'm thinking that, one, for doing even a regular meeting, well, June one's different. But let's say in November, we have a public hearing, we don't get that information out.
Well, okay, yeah.
So we can do it for the public hearings as well?
When you have substantial type public hearings, yeah, I would say it should be. That would announce both the public hearing and the upcoming vote would be both on the same kind.
Well, yeah, you could do that.
For November, right?
But November, there's usually a state election though, but you could still do it, yeah.
Well, they wouldn't know about the public hearing.
Yeah, that's true.
And the June one, our newsletter.
The newsletter does it, but
Yeah, we tell them all that stuff.
I just think if you had funding for 4, you might only use 3 or 2, but.
Right.
We need to know how much that might cost though, don't you think?
Well, that's why I was trying to figure out last
I
time.
don't think
What the mail-
it'll be a big enough, but we have time to squeeze into the election budget. Put a line item for postage, and that way we have $1,000 there or whatever that it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
Do you know who?
Do you know
This guy that does the checks, same guy, right?
is it John? Is
Yeah,
that his
his
name?
name's
Yes, he's the one that did the newsletter, and he would be the newsletter will be mailed out, and it would be the same thing.
So you could ask him about.
Yeah, ask him.
He's the one
We
who's
can
trying to help me
decide.
with my,
On the number of mailings, also by the price. I mean, if the price runs it too high, then we just cut down the number.
Right. Yep. Alright. That's all I have.
Okay.
So we're gonna, basically, on the waste right now, we're just gonna leave it as is, continue going until the vote in June.
Well, I think we gotta,
Yeah, I agree with that.
we can't, yeah, let's see what people want.
I mean, we have real viable options now that we can present to people. And now we can see, we know what the cost difference is roughly gonna be, so we can.
So if they wanna save money right now, don't recycle.
That's right.
Which is sad.
Sad, yeah, it is sad. Sounds counterproductive, but it's sad.
It does.
But I mean, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. I mean, because I recycle, so if I have a can of soup, I normally wouldn't rinse it out. I just take the can, the lid, and I throw it in the recyclable thing. Well, that's contaminated, but that's what I
I
do.
always rinse it out.
Well, I don't. I mean, because it's outside, I
Just because.
just throw it outside. So but because it's right outside on the deck, and so I just,
Yeah.
but so now I don't. I just throw it in regular trash. Because I know the value's not, I know, so I know the
Yeah,
value's not.
yeah.
Cardboard I still recycle and that kind of stuff, but yeah, so. Now we have Paul's big list.
That's one you didn't touch on.
Oh, yeah, well, I forgot, yeah.
I was waiting for you to, that's why.
No, I think I said something to Chip I said, did I send an email or something, cause I couldn't remember, yeah. Yeah, and, this is what we do in another town, they have a reserve account for health and dental insurance. They budget, what they do is they budget for what the employee actually is taking, and then if someone, say that employee leaves or they have to up the coverage, then they take it out of the reserve account. So they have a reserve account and they only replenish the reserve account if they use money out of it. Do you know what I mean? So, whatever, it's just, and it's not, I think they only put like 10 or 15,000.
But they're funding it with appropriations, so correct?
Well, yeah, obviously you have to.
Versus with extra money that's left over.
It's just a thought to,
No, I think reserve accounts are smart for that. We've talked about a reserve account maybe for winter maintenance.
Yeah.
For plowing.
Just, just because let's be honest, budgeting for insurance is, you have no idea. So do you budget that everybody has a family plan? How do you, so sometimes our number is way up here when maybe it doesn't need to be. So I don't know. It's just a thought.
Right, this particular go around is just to fund reserve accounts is just more money.
Yeah, it is.
That's for something that's unknown.
Yeah.
Versus like this year, if we have money left over in the insurance account, instead of it going to the back to the general fund, could we somehow use that to fund an insurance reserve? Again, we still have to ask for authorization to do that, but
that's a good thought.
But then you're funding it that way, up to a certain number. I don't know what that number is, 25,000,
whatever it is,
whatever that number is. But at least that way you start to, and again, the same thing, same thought for winter maintenance, is if we have any money left over, this winter probably not, but if we have any money left over in sanding or plowing, that could then, we could put it into roads too, but the problem is that a winter you can really go crazy, so that would go in a reserve account. Rather than in other years, it gets pulled out of the rest of the budget, which may be paving. So, in that way, because again, you have one good storm, and that can, if you're already over budget, that sucks you right out of your.
It does.
Right out of your contingency. You have nothing. So.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea to kind of start
I'm not really sure how to word it that though, to give us the authorization to move. I suppose we could ask the attorneys on how, or MMA possibly.
Yeah.
Two reserve accounts, one for insurance and one for highway.
Yeah.
Or sand and plowing.
Winter maintenance.
And maybe this year we can, cause I agree, but maybe if there is any left, we can.
And if there's a reserve account, there's always in another year, you could always ask to fund it as well. But I'm just saying for this year, probably whatever.
They only fund it, they have it, whatever the amount is, and then they just, if they take some out, then they put more money into it. They don't keep doing it, but it's an amount they keep, so. It's just a thought, another way to.
You'd have to write it to establish the account this year, and then if there was a balance, it would.
To establish and allow us to use, leftover line items or something like that to fund it.
Yeah.
So would you have to do that every year in order to keep, to do the same thing?
No, I think you could do this to be allowed.
Unless you had to put money into it.
I think you could probably approve that unless repealed by the voters, put something like that, so that it continues year after year. The only thing that we'd have to, if you wanted to actually add money, appropriate money to put into it, that would have to be separate.
Yeah.
We can't, it has to be leftover money. But again, the voters would have to approve that, and I'm not even sure if you can do that, to be honest with you. Would have to figure it out. Certainly setting up a reserve account is no different than setting up a CIP account.
Yeah.
So I know you can do that. We could appropriate money to put in 25,000 to an insurance reserve. So of course you can do that. The question is there a way to be able to do it where we can use leftover money out of that budget to help? That's already been appropriated basically, but just So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did just about everything I was gonna ask tonight. The only thing I was gonna touch on was a update on where we stood on some items that have been ongoing, but I think tonight for time's sake, we're gonna skip that part and we'll try it another night. But what I'm looking for is just anything we've had that we've been working on that just kind of sitting there, we haven't finished off
You need
yet.
to keep a list of that. She needs to keep a list. Okay.
Well, it's surprising when you start doing a little bit of thinking and digging of
Well,
some of the things that we have
yeah.
started, but we just never got finished, so. Yeah, I think for myself, I think I'll just hold off on anything else for now. If there's nothing else, we'll go to the, oh, I wrote it down somewhere, executive session. Yeah, but she did, I put it in.
You want this?
Yeah, I do actually, it's, there it is, right there in front.
Okay.
Two executive sessions, one is for labor negotiations, which is 405-6D, and personnel, 405-6A.
I second it.
All in favor? Good night, Lynn.
Night,
Sorry for the late night.
that's okay.
All right.